Salute, and welcome. Welcome back over here to the Black Ocean, ladies and gentlemen. You're now swimming in the ocean, in the deep end with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. Excuse me, I was taking a sip of water, ladies and gentlemen, before I came on the air here. But yes, we have to discuss reparations, deportations, and white supremacist codification. Because unless you've been hiding under a rock, ladies and gentlemen, there has been a lot going on that affects Black America, in particular foundational Black Americans. And we are going to cover a great deal of that and then some here tonight. Because, see, family, let me tell you something. I am proud of our brothers and sisters nationwide that are on code and doing the best that they can to change things wherever they are and to remain codified and to take action in their communities so that it empowers their people. Very proud of them, especially if you're a young Black person living at this day and age in this time period. It's a lot for you to deal with. It's a lot for the young people in Black society to adjust to very quickly. And it can be very challenging for them, particularly if they don't have the proper guidance at the home structure that they're growing up in. A lot of times, no matter which new Black media platform you listen to, for those people, and sometimes some adults, these are the only spaces that they can get the things they need to further encourage them, to further point them in the right direction, and to further educate them and introduce them to like-minded people through these different spaces, okay? So I just wanted to take the time to acknowledge everybody, even those of you here in this chat, okay? No matter where you are, who your favorite new voice of Black media is, whatever the case may be, salute to all of you. Everything that you do matters. Everybody can do something. Everybody can't do everything, but everybody can do something, okay? Whatever your particular skill set is, you get together with like minds and you maximize that potential. And it's okay if you're still learning how to do that. The key word is learning. And then if you seek to apply what you learn, okay? So everybody's role is important because see here on the screen that we're looking at, this demonic piece of dog shit, Daniel James Penny. Oh yeah, take a look at him. The National Police Association, they're backing him with this tweet. White supremacy is getting on code and they are rallying the troops like never before. I mean, look, we've seen them do this plenty of times before, but this is a particularly important case to them because, see, family, let me tell you something. If they win this, and by win, I mean if Daniel Penny gets off of the little slap on the wrist charge they gave him, second-degree manslaughter, which is not, it is actually first-degree murder. And let me go ahead and make that clear. It's not second-degree murder. It's not second-degree manslaughter. It's not any of that. First-degree murder. You choke somebody deliberately for over 15 minutes. Anybody with common sense knows that that could cause someone to lose their life. Yes, it's first-degree murder. We got to stop going along with things because the dominant society will try to argue this or that. And then you'll have some Negroes, it's not even about going along with the dominant society. They start trying to be technical with things and turn one thing this way and that way. I'm like, no, call it what your eyes seen. We saw the intent on the damn videotape. It is first-degree murder that he should have been charged with. And I've said it again before, Derek Chauvin should have been charged with first-degree murder also. The intent is right in front of you. See, I've said it many times. One of the things that you have to remember about our people, we've been socially conditioned to accept going along with what other people in the dominant society tell us first and foremost. And then you have some people that are cowardly that know what they're saying is a lie, especially when you saw it with your own eyes on video. They know it and they're afraid to challenge white supremacy. Let me tell you something. Being afraid of evil doesn't get you anywhere. Evil is going to continue being evil, and it's going to get even stronger if you don't oppose it, okay? This is how I live. This is how I was raised, okay? I can't speak for anybody else or tell anybody else what to do, but I'll be damned if I'm going to live my life in fear of white supremacy in this country. This is my home. This is my country that my ancestors built and that I contribute to building to this day to empower my family and the people that I know in my community, okay? I have a right, and you all listen to me, listen to this live recording, have a right to live your life in peace. As long as you're a law-abiding person and you're not hurting nobody, you have the right to live your life in peace without a cowardly maggot sneaking up behind you to choke you to death because you've fallen on hard times. And I'm going to say it one more time. It's going to piss some people off. No disrespect to our own code brothers and sisters up there who are foundational Black Americans and those outside of our lineage. But let me tell you, those people that stood around and watched Brother Jordan Neely be choked to death or something, your punk asses should be ashamed of yourself. You should be completely and thoroughly ashamed of yourself. That is not the way we're supposed to conduct ourselves when we see our people in distress. Because first and foremost, before anybody put hands on them, how in the fuck you didn't have something to give that brother to help his situation? I understand that every situation is different and you must be careful when dealing with homeless people. People have mental illnesses, but as many people on that train, everybody's scared to death of one person. No, but look, see, I've said it before. I'm going to go here again because I got to say it. Hell, if our people had the right spirit, everybody on that train, man, when they heard that man say that, and I want y'all to bear with me before we get into tonight's lesson over here. If everybody on that train, okay, one, you outnumber him. Don't take that many people to deal with somebody if he was a threat, but he wasn't. They can't point out the threat that he was. But if everybody on that train would have said, you know what, shit, I see this situation, man. I've seen him before. I see that brother, man, trying to do his impersonation to take care of himself. Think about where we would be as a people if we had such compassion for those who had like a situation like his, falling on hard times. Everybody went in their pocket and said, you know what, brother, this $5, everybody get this man $5 so he can get him something to eat or whatever. You see what I'm saying? See, what I just said, you got a lot of people, they think there's something wrong with that. But see, nah, if you got an issue with that, something is wrong with you. Because see, we're supposed to take care of each other like that. Let me tell you something, man. I've seen it many times. These homeless white people out here, they folks take care of them. Don't let them tell you that they're not being taken care of. They don't walk past their people without doing something for them. You see what I'm saying? See, the point that I'm making is this. Where we're headed in society, what I just stated, that basic act of compassion, that's going to be life or death for a lot of us with a lot of these things coming down the pipeline that I'm about to show you here tonight. Because see, furthermore, before we get into that, let me take a moment also to salute the younger voices of New Black Media. One in particular, because there's many to name, but I got to shout out one in particular, my good brother Torian Rain. Man, let me tell you something. If you missed the live stream that he did yesterday, you missed a lot of good information, because briefly, I want to show you something before we get into tonight's broadcast here tonight. This is taken from our good brother Torian Rain's live stream. Check this out. He was doing a live stream covering the Give, Send, Go. That's a platform similar to GoFundMe for those who don't know. That's the fundraising platform they're using to gather funds for this coward, Daniel James Penny. Vivek Ramaswamy, or as we like to call him, racist ramen noodle Swami. This joker was one of the top donors yesterday. He gave $10,000. $10,000 to this anti-black racist coward that snuck up behind a homeless, starving, underweight black man and choked him out and had accomplices, and everybody stood there and watched that. $10,000, family. Brother Torian Rain caught this in real time, okay? See, the point that I'm going to make here tonight with this broadcast, in fact, the business, let me go ahead and give this disclaimer. A lot of what you're going to see on this broadcast tonight that we're going to get through, if it pisses you off, it should. A lot of what you're going to see on this broadcast here tonight, if you are a member of any of the groups that are white adjacent, in other words, you're allowed to be classified as white here, you're going to feel some type of way if I'm talking about you. But now, if I'm not talking about you, no problem. You might be one of the people that don't think like a white supremacist or a wannabe white supremacist. And those are even more dangerous than the full-on white supremacists, because they'll do anything to prove themselves. See, this Vivek Ramaswamy dude right here, he's showing that he's on the team. He's like, okay, hey, this is white supremacist cause. He's nowhere near a white man and never will be. But in order to show that he's backing their play, this is how much they're willing to give, okay? So for those people that think we have some type of camaraderie with these other groups, you better pay attention to what we're seeing right here in real time. They're showing you that anything that harms us, they're going to support it. And there's no greater way outside of physically supporting something than economically supporting something. Wherever you put your wallet, that's where your heart and your mind is. You understand me? Basically, what I'm looking at, every one of them that donates to this, and let me be clear, if you go and look at this, there's some tether names on there too. Or we're not going to leave them out. But see, when you see these people willing to donate to things that's willing to harm us, that's an open enemy right there. You can't call it nothing but that. So salute to the good brother Torrin for catching that, because see, I got to give this brother his props once again. Very seasoned at what he does. Let me show you what else good brother Torrin Rain caught. Oh yeah, take a good look at the screen. Y'all's not playing tricks on you. Back to business. In case you can't really see that, let me I want to make sure you get this right here. Let me, you know what? Go on ahead and make this super big. That's what we're gonna do. I hope you can see that better, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kid Rock. Oh yeah, Kid Rock, the little old goofy culture vulture white boy. And I'm gonna call him anti-black racist white supremacist because we've heard the things he's done over the years. He put 5 bands on it. Yeah, put 5 bands. This was yesterday now. This was yesterday. Amongst the top donations. Torrin Rain caught this. He just decided to go over there and take a look. And see, I'm showing you this for a reason. Because see, it furthermore states the fact that as black men, and salute to Nathaniel Perry for the cash out. Thank you very much, Nathaniel Perry, for that generous donation, my brother. It further solidifies the fact, though, and I like to start with the ones who are the leaders and the protectors of society, and that's black men. There should be no more co-signing. This is going to piss some people off. There should be no more co-signing of these white folks that want to jump into our culture, because see, Kid Rock from Detroit, that's how he got his start. Okay. He was round the brothers at first, learning everything he could. And then when these people get themselves established, they commenced to turning on us. See, we cannot keep that up because it's become a danger to our people. When you financially support causes that harm black people, you're an enemy of my people. I don't want nothing to do with you. So we got to be better gatekeepers, brothers, on that. We can't keep allowing these people. Look, it don't need to be no more invites to the barbecue, because see, if you still think that I'm wrong, if you think, oh, GBS you reaching, that's just one person, or you just stick around for the rest of this broadcast of the night, we're going to get a hell of an education over here. Let me tell you something. I'm going to go ahead and prepare to put this on Rumble just in case there's any issues or problems. I'm going to go ahead and state the fair use disclaimer before we even get into everything else that we're going to view here tonight, because this one's going to upset a lot of people when I show you what I got to show you here, because you're not going to believe your eyes. We're going to be very thorough here. So salute to Torrin Rain for catching this. I just want to bring this to you all's attention in case you did not see it. Let me tell you, white supremacy is on the march. They are not playing any games, okay? They are deadly serious about being on code and supporting the people that they've deputized to harm us. And see, let me tell you something else. I showed you a white adjacent supremacist, Ramen Noodle Swami. Okay, we call him that. Anti-black racist punk that he is. Yeah, that's what's his name? The other little clown, the other little anti-black racist Indian dude. What's his name? I said Dinesh D'Souza. Yeah, that's one of his kinfolk. But see, I showed you him. Then I showed you the entertainment class of white supremacy. And now what I'm going to show you to further stress the point, Ron DeSantis. Yeah. Oh, Ron. Yeah. Or Ron DeSatan, as a lot of people like to call him. Oh, Ron DeSantis, he's a part of the white supremacist leadership class on the political right. Let's be clear. Both parties are white supremacist parties. I like to say that anytime I talk politics, so that Negroes nor white supremacists will try to clip anything and act as if I'm supporting one party or the other. I know y'all know that, but I want to make that clear. Ron DeSantis came out and said, we stand with good Samaritans like Daniel Penny. Let's show this Marine you're a disgrace to any military uniform. America's got his back. Now, why did I bring this up before we get started? I'm going to tell you why. You see, I look at everything from a warfare standpoint due to my background and the way I was trained and taught to understand white supremacy and how it functions. And see, you have 3 classes here. You have the white supremacist buffer class that I just showed you, Vivek Ramaswamy, Ramanoodle. Then you had the entertainment class, Kid Rock. Then you have the leadership class. So now those 3 things you put together is this. This is what you take from that. In every facet of white supremacy, whether they're entertainer, buffer class, leadership, everyday working class. They all are on code and they understand the assignment. You see, they're functioning like a well-oiled machine. I guarantee you, you will not see very many white people, if any at all, jump up and vehemently oppose them supporting this murderer. Everywhere you look, you can see them calling him a hero, a coward that snuck up behind somebody. See, you would almost be able to get away with that if you said he confronted Jordan Neely to his face. You would almost be able to get away with that and say, okay, he thought this guy was a threat. Hey, Jordan, this, that, the third, the guy turned around, they got into a scuffle. You would almost have room to do that. But see, the last time I checked, a hero don't need to sneak up on nobody. And on behalf of all military veterans, those of us that actually did serve with some type of honor and integrity, we don't see you as a brother. Damn sure we're black first before anything else, but we damn sure don't see you as a brother, okay? And many brothers and sisters that have served have come out and said that. And I don't care what color you are. If you have served and the uniform meant anything to you, you would come out and denounce this piece of shit. This is a coward, man. You couldn't drop him off in any combat zone in any other country and he conduct himself that way and without being court-martialed or looked at as a coward amongst any of his own fellow soldiers in his unit, okay? So we got to get that part out of the way. But again, do not underestimate the importance of what I just showed you with those three examples of how they're on code across the board in this society about what they need to do and what they're going to continue to do. Because see, family, let me tell you something. Where this is headed, let's just say he gets acquitted. What's going to happen next is you're going to see them emboldened. And now I want to go here with it. And I'm not trying to fearmonger or make anybody afraid. What I'm reporting this to you for is so that you can understand what's coming down the pipeline. Okay? If he gets off, because we have to be forward thinking, especially the men. If he gets off and the right noises are made, because everybody should be pushing to get them charges upgraded. Okay, if you're up there in New York, nationwide, to be honest. You guys up there in New York, you push for that. Your brothers and sisters across the nation will back you up. We got your back on this. This affects everybody. But if he does get off, all your white supremacist groups are going to flood to that area and be looking for soft targets. Do you hear what I'm saying? Because see, then they're sending the message that, okay, you going to lay down and not push for punishment when we harm one of your own? It's open season. See, let me tell you something, man. Let me put it to you plain. We're finna get into this tonight, but I got to get this out the way. You got to look at white supremacy the same, the same as you would a bully on a playground when you were in school. As long as that bully was allowed to do whatever he or she wanted to do, beat up on everybody, pick on them, this, that, the third, with no impunity, nobody fought back, the bully kept going. The bully got worse. But all it would take, one or two people to put something on that bully's ass, and then that bully got some act right? I'm pretty sure any of you that ever been through that can relate to what I'm saying, and you know that's the truth. A bully doesn't stop, it has to be stopped. Now, I'm going to tell you something about your brother. I was a dude that the bullies was afraid of in school. Oh, yeah. I couldn't stand seeing nobody pick on somebody that was not able to defend themselves. That's something that has stayed with me all my life. I don't like seeing people make go after soft targets that they know cannot fight back. I was the guy that made the bullets get some act right. I like, look here, if you gonna do it, you better not let me catch it. But hey, look, I digress. That's a discussion for another time. My point is this: white supremacy is a bully. You must stand up to it, and if you don't, your very life will be in danger, and those lives of your children and grandchildren will be in danger. See, this is why we hold such ire and contempt for the off-code cowardly Sambo class, okay, of the civil rights generation, for those that it applies to, because we know we still have some riders. But for the ones that are cowards, that look the other way on this, while black youth like Jordan Neely and others are being harmed and killed, can't cut you a pass because you're selfish at that point. The job of every elder that makes it to the age to be an elder with our actions, because just getting older doesn't make you an elder, our job is to look after our young people. Our job is to make the road ahead a little bit smoother for them, especially understanding the challenges that they face. And we're supposed to be there to assist them. The next generation is not supposed to fight these battles on their own. To be honest with you, and I'm going to even address myself with this. Generation X, I may be, but those of us that really do value the lives of our young black people, we look at certain things that we wish we would have been able to do different so that they would not have to deal with these types of things today. These things weigh heavy on our minds, those of us that really love and care for our people, okay? So I just wanted to get that out the way because, see, family, what we're going to look at here tonight, I don't think too many people are going to put it in the context that I am here, but I'm doing it like this for a reason. So I know that took a bit longer than usual to get out the way. So let me go ahead and greet my esteemed guests over here in the chat room. I see you, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I always like to greet you when you join me over here because you could be anywhere else, but you chose to spend your time over here this evening. So I see my good brother, Jason Ferreira, in here. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Only Pamela's Way. Hello to you, sister. T-Step in the building. Iron Will. Patricia Jenkins on moderator duty. Patricia Slade right below that. I see you too, good sister. Jesse Paris for Denver Mayor. Welcome. A Goddess Navi. I see you. The Prince of Paraphernalia. Salute to this brother. Hey, and this brother also has a shop too, where he sells different items over there. Go check that brother out. Iron Will, what's going on with your brother? Welcome as always. A little country lamb in the building. Okay, let's see who else I see down here. Sincere Love the Guy. Oh man, hey, one of our most talented foundational Black American artists. Let me tell you something. If you haven't listened to the album he dropped called The Master's Table, that is Mind Medicine. You need to go check that brother's channel out and check out his music. Very important for the times we're living in because, see, when you are at war, you have to have things to keep your mind focused. The Master's Table would be the album that I would recommend you listen to, okay? So let's see who else I see down here. Lee Holmes in the building. I see you. All right, let me scroll further down. Nathaniel Perry in the house. All right. Tarian Rain in the building. Welcome. B1 for life. Neek 22 over here. I see you. Let's see. Project Leroy on deck in here. Josh Norris in the building. Sincerely yours. Welcome to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad you joined us here tonight because I think you're going to find everything we're about to delve into to be very useful. So now that you've seen some of the greater concerns with this Daniel Penny situation, we're going to further review a lot more that's going on. We're going to get started and put our thinking caps on, and we're going to break these things down section by section. And before we even get started, fair use, fair use. So the first thing we're going to look at in the aftermath of the Daniel Penny cowardly murder on young Jordan Neely, this is Governor Kathy Hochul with her pale alabaster ass. Now, I know a lot of y'all probably already saw her comments, but I'm playing this for a reason. I'm gonna let her talk, then we're gonna point out some things about this. Let's let her speak.
One element we have not talked about is the $1 billion investment we have in mental health services, so we don't have people who are in our, homeless in our subways, many of them in the throes of mental health episodes, and that's what I believe are some of the factors involved here. And people, there's consequences for behavior, and I'll look at it more closely to find out whether the state has a role. People who've been out on parole have different consequences, and a judge can make a decision on whether to hold someone, or a DA can make a decision to charge them. But in a case where someone is on parole, then the state has an ability, as we've done before in more serious cases, to ensure that someone is held.
So now you heard what she said, right? Kathy Hochul. Let me tell you something, Kathy. And let me make this statement loud and clear to any white supremacists that may be listening to the sound of my voice, because we are going to protect our people. You're right. Everything does have consequences. I often tell you over here on my platform that Newton's third law of gravity applies to people also. For those of you unfamiliar with that, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So yes, you're right. Actions do have consequences, Kathy Hochul, because see, if you let this white supremacist bastard walk, then that means that black people have the right to, if they feel threatened by white supremacists, to neutralize the threat in any manner you see fit. Let me tell you something right now, family. Y'all take this how you want to take it, but you'll understand what I'm saying to you. You have the right to protect yourself and your family from any threat that attempts to harm or take your life in whatever way you see fit. I'm going to tell you like my great-grandfather taught all of us. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. This is not something that's going to be tolerated. We see their numbers dwindling. They're getting more and more desperate and more violent. In fact, I'm going to give you a brief history lesson here. And I want you young black people to go look this up, because I could put this in here, but I'm going to make y'all do a bit of work. Those of you who are older in my age range, you already know what I'm talking about. When you go back and study the history of New York, this occurred years ago during the Jim Crow era. And it was the same thing, but see, it was under different circumstances. See, they always like to make black people the scapegoat of something when they're too cowardly or incompetent to address the people that are in power in their society. Think back to the New York draft riots, okay? Think back to that time. Now the draft law was instituted. They signed up white New Yorkers, men, to go to war. Instead of them dealing with their leaders, they took that out on black people. Oh yeah, they started targeting black people. You see what I'm saying? So now, you fast forward to 2023, what does that have to do with the Daniel Penny situation? The same thing as this. Whenever they feel frustrated in society about anything, if anything doesn't go their way, you see, we're talking about getting these reparations, we're making progress with that, okay? There's a lot going on that's changing in black society that they do not like. They're looking at their steady dwindling numbers, as I said, so the first people that they want to target is us. And see, our good brother Jason Black has often said, they hate you because you're black, but they victimize you because you're poor. So for any soundboard talking about we shouldn't get reparations, understand this is a part of that issue too. When the first rule of going to war is to get your money right, okay? And this is legally owed money. When you got the proper, finance, you can protect yourself against things like this. Jordan Neely wouldn't have been homeless, okay? He would have had his own place to stay. I have many other thoughts about that regarding his family, but I'm waiting to reserve judgment till I see a little bit more about how they conduct themselves going forward with this. So I'll reserve my comments on that until I see more. But my point is this. The reason why we fight so hard for reparations, in addition to doing for ourselves, because nobody's just sitting on our hands waiting for that. We can chew gum and walk at the same time. We have so many issues that we have to address to repair these things in our communities and protect ourselves from incidents like this, okay? So now we're going to refresh your memory even further here and let you hear this other coward speaking. You all going to recognize him. I'm not going to even say anything. I'm just going to let you see who he is. We got to walk you back down this because, see, I want you to make sure you remember all these faces, particularly coming up for 2024, when it's time to make certain political decisions. I want y'all to take a listen to this and remember these faces.
On the question of vigilantism, what do passengers do in situations like that? Is it appropriate to take matters into your own hands?
Each situation is different, and how a passenger, we have so many cases where passengers assist of the riders, and we don't know exactly what happened here until the investigation is thorough. And each situation is different. I was a former transit police officer, and I responded to many jobs where you had a passenger assisted someone. And so we cannot just blatantly say what a passenger should or should not do in a situation like that. We should allow the investigation to take its course.
Okay. Yeah, you heard that bullet head maggot speaking. So now can you imagine if the situation was reversed, and we're not going to stop saying this, if it was Darnell Penny, okay, a black man that decided to do that to a white man because he thought he was a threat? Do you think Eric Adams would be sitting his punk ass up there making that statement? And see, let me tell you something, right? I'm not going to wish this on him, but Alvin Bragg, let me say something to you. The last time a DA in New York didn't do the right thing in regards to charging Peter Liang, and you looked the other way because the Asian community bought you off, the ancestors took care of that. And any of y'all that have been paying attention to history, you know what I mean by that. You saw what happened to him. I honestly do believe the ancestors took care of that ass. You don't get away with looking the other way when our people are harmed like that. So while you throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Donald Trump for some bullshit that really, to be honest with you, the Donald Trump thing that they coming at, man, look, that's between him, God, and his wife. That got nothing to do with the politics of it. But see, the Democrats are so desperate, they got to pull that out their ass. And I'm no Donald Trump fan. I'm just calling it what it is, okay? So Alvin Bragg, you go ahead and drop the ball and turn the other way, brother. Don't be surprised if the ancestors take care of you next, okay? We're going to leave that right there because, see, going back to these Republicans, so that you further understand how serious the threat is of them getting on code. This is Representative Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz. I'm going to play this clip for you, and I want you to listen to what he's saying about their so-called hero, Daniel James Penny. I want y'all to take a listen to this. Fair use, fair use.
A crazed lunatic appears. He starts threatening violence against your friends, your family, your loved ones, your spouse, your children, even against innocent bystanders. Do you take action? Do you do your duty as a free American? Or do you just sit there like an extra in the movie, watching the violence go down? Well, Marine U.S. patriot Daniel Penny probably asked himself similar questions, and he decided to act. When the dangerously insane Jordan Neely walked into Daniel's subway car, when he was making violent threats, Daniel bravely put himself in harm's way to subdue Jordan and to put him in a hold until the police arrived. Daniel is even on video providing due care and releasing this person from the hold, even trying to wake him up after he was subdued. Tragically, and in the course of this altercation that could have been avoided, Jordan Neely took his last breath. Maybe you haven't heard of Jordan Neely, but the NYPD has. Jordan Neely has been arrested 42 times. Many such cases involved crimes on the subway. These soft on crime policies like we see in New York kill. It's just a matter of whom in far too many cases. And it shouldn't be the people not committing crimes. If we reopened the asylums and put disturbed and dangerous people like Jordan Neely inside them when they need to be, maybe he'd still be alive today. Maybe there would be some opportunity for recovery or a renewed life.
So before this piece of shit finishes his statement, you heard the despicable amount of gaslighting. First and foremost, none of them can point out what the danger and the threat was. I've said it before, if Jordan Neely really intended to do harm, if he had a knife or a gun, he would have immediately started using that time he got on the train. The man jumped on the train, frustrated, threw his jacket down for what I understand, and was basically telling people what his situation was. Again, I have compassion for my people. I would have tried to help the brother. You see what I'm saying? But see, you have to understand something else. White supremacists don't view black people, not even black children, especially not even black children, as human beings. You understand me? They don't. So therefore, when they see somebody like Jordan Neely, they think target, prey. See, a compassionate human being would have done what I said earlier. With an evil human being that looks at you as prey or a target, they say, oh, this is a vulnerable one. And see, I agree with everybody else that has been saying, they probably were stalking and watching their brother and saying, you know what, we gonna get us one right here. This look like, yeah, he come down here at the same time. Yeah, we'll get us one. And see, they keep on talking about, oh, he was arrested 42 times. Okay, well, I'm going to do something a bit unconventional here tonight with that. Let's go with that. Let's go with the he was arrested 42 times, basically saying without saying that he deserved it, right? Okay, let's play that game. By that logic, if you're going to open up that can of worms, and that's what the criteria is for neutralizing a threat, well, then all these white supremacists that have been convicted of certain things, arrested all these number of times and let go, if that's going to be the new standard, just know it's going to work for everybody, okay? If do you really want to go there, white supremacy? Do you really want that to be the new criteria? You just because you were arrested prior, because see that they never put a victim on trial when it's their people. His prior 42 arrests, whatever the case they were, it didn't have nothing to do with him walking on that train and being assaulted and killed, first-degree murder. Didn't have nothing to do with that particular incident. See, they love to bring up straw man arguments and red herrings like that. But see, again, let's roll with it. If that's the new criteria, okay, fine. It's going to be like that across the board. So when your mass shooters are out here that you claim maybe they should have put him in an insane asylum. Okay, maybe they should have put Dylan Roof in an insane asylum. Peyton Gendron, okay? All these different white supremacist race soldiers, maybe they should be in insane asylums too. But see, when you're looking at a demonic, twisted white supremacist narcissist, all of these things they look at towards black people because in their mind, we're just de facto evil. Now, we're evil, but we hadn't done these people nothing. Nobody that hates black society as a collective anywhere in the world can point to anything and say we've done this to them as a collective. Not in comparison to their history. See, they would almost have an argument. Because, see, I like to completely break down this foolishness. They would almost have an argument if we had their history of lynching and enslaving and murdering and stealing from their people. They would almost have an argument like, hey, you know what? These people might do this or that to us. If anybody, we should be feeling that way. To be honest with you, none of them are qualified to be in any judgment positions over black people. They're not. The greater majority of them are not. They are twisted and look, if you agreeing with this and you calling Kyle Rittenhouse, you calling Daniel James Penny, you calling people like Derek Chauvin, Daniel Holesclaw, I can name on and on. You calling those people that harm innocent, unarmed black people, even children like Tamir Rice, you calling them people heroes? Our sister Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Sandra Bland, on and on. I could keep going, okay? If you calling them types of people heroes, you're not fit to preside over anything with any type of judgment or morality. You're not. I don't know what God they claim to serve, but it's not the one that I serve. It's not. So I just wanted to debunk all that and let this thin lip lie continue to talk because, see, we have to teach our children exactly what they're up against. And see, before I go on, there's something else I'm going to show you here tonight, and we're going to make this lesson stick. Take a look at his attire. He got the suit and tie on, the shirt, hair slicked back. In society, a lot of our people have been conditioned to think a white man in a suit is the second coming of Jesus. But you see the devil right here speaking to you in front of you on this broadcast. That's what I want to point out to you. We're going to further get back to that here tonight. Let's let this bag of dog shit continue.
But the left doesn't actually want this. The Soros prosecutors like Alvin Bragg, they want you to fear for your life. They would rather you die than defend yourself. Maybe you die while asking yourself the question about whether or not you should defend yourself. But it isn't Jordan Neely that the New York City prosecutors are removing from the streets. They never did that, in fact, never to any success or significant duration. It's Daniel Penny. Daniel had the nerve to stand up to the anarcho-tyranny that is running rampant throughout New York and particularly in their public transit systems. And now it seems he will pay dearly for it. Look at how New York prosecutors perp-walked him. I mean, this was the guy who literally stood up to protect those around him from what could have been a dangerous situation. Now it's imperative that...
Now I'm going to show you something. I want y'all to pay close attention to this clip that he showed of Daniel Penny walking out because there's something in it that he didn't show. Y'all heard us talk about it. A lot of you probably already know what it is, but we're going to point that out. There's something in it he didn't show because, see, you're probably saying, well, GBS, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm going to show you how they stay on code, and it's going to prove that something we've been talking about across new black media platforms is 100% correct. I'm not going to point it out just yet, but I want y'all to really pay attention to this clip of him, them walking him out when they so-called arrested him. I want y'all to pay attention. We'll get back to it and break it down in a few.
Daniel prevail, and that Alvin Bragg dropped the bogus charges against him. Some say, stay out of the situation. Don't put yourself in harm's way. But it's our duty to act, and when good men sit silently watching as criminals and deviants take over our streets, evil gains ground. It's not only permissible, but it's right and just to act in self-defense and in the defense of others. This is the behavior that all great societies must encourage. We must do our part to save Daniel Penny from the leftist lynch mob. He deserves our support. Today, it's a Marine in New York facing the proverbial firing squad. Tomorrow, it's you and yours. Alvin Bragg must drop these charges, and we must make our country righteous and just and fair again. Daniel Penny has set up a Give, Send, Go account, and I will be donating to his legal defense personally today. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel with notifications turned on. You won't want to miss any of the breaking news.
Okay, so now I showed you that for a reason. And I even left his little Rumble channel there because I want you to know where to find the white supremacists that I showed you. See, this is the era that we're going to make sure it comes to an end. They're not going to be allowed to hide. If there's anybody that's harming our people with their rhetoric and they're donating to causes like this cowards give, send, go account, I want you to know where they are. I want you to know where they are so you can monitor them for yourselves. There may be things that I may miss. So I'm going to make sure you know where to find these bastards. But see, family, you saw how in the beginning, before the grassroots actually put this bastard's name and everything out there, they knew who he was. The police knew who he was. The media knew who he was. They weren't going to put his name out there. It wouldn't have been out there until they decided to do anything with it as far as the charges. And I don't even think they would have charged him if the people up there wouldn't have started turning up. They stay on code across the board. But see, you saw another act of staying on code here. You saw another act of staying on code. I'm going to point out what that was because, see, while he was playing that, watch this. Let me show you something. I want y'all to take a good look at this. Okay, so now I played it to you again without all of his stuff on there. These are the angles that they didn't show you with old Daniel James Penny. Oh, they didn't show you that, those damn shoelaces. Now, a lot of y'all probably like, man, what y'all talking about? A lot of people have shoes like that for the slow people, okay? And then to be fair, because I know that there are a lot of young black people that are over here that probably don't understand what these threats are, but we're going to break it down plain and simple over here. Here's the deal with the shoelaces for those that don't know, family. Oftentimes in prison and outside in white supremacist gangs, the new initiates or the new recruits wear black shoes with white laces. I'm going to thoroughly break this down so you completely know what this means, okay? The black shoes and the white laces on top, it has a dual meaning, okay? First, the white laces indicate that you're a beginner in rank, okay? Second, the color white, self-explanatory white supremacy, and it's on top of the black shoes, meaning that you're supposed to dominate them, okay? They wear the white laces until they actually kill a black person, and then they change the laces to red over black. That means they're blooded, that they've gone and taken the life of a black person that's been confirmed by the leadership in whatever white supremacist terrorist organization they're trying to join. So the difference is the white strings, you're initiate, you're in recruit stage. Red strings on top of black shoes, you're blooded. Now you receive significant rank. You're allowed to join and have say-so in that white supremacist rank, okay? And they've been trying to downplay this because, see, take a look on the right of your screen right here. This is a photo, an edit one, albeit, of the white supremacist Mauricio Garcia there. You know, look, his shoestrings, same thing, okay? Oh, we're gonna thoroughly break this down here tonight. See, I want to make sure that you all never miss these types of things because it's important. You need to know when you see this. Now, I'm not saying every single person, no, but there are some things that you need to look for in conjunction. For example, if they're wearing those khaki brown pants, a black shirt, or sometimes they'll mix it up and have a khaki shirt and black pants with those same types of laces, you're around the white supremacists or a group of them. If you see a group of them with that on the same, listen, you better mind yourself. I'm gonna show you something, because see, a lot of people thought we was exaggerating about this. One thing you're gonna have to understand over here in New Black Media, we're very thorough with the things that we investigate and present to you all. You see him here on the train with that, okay? Remember Amber Geiger and her people? Let me take this banner down because I want y'all to be able to thoroughly see this, okay? Look down there at his feet. Look at his feet. Black shoes, white laces. Most stores, when you buy shoes like that, they don't sell shoes like that. You have to add that to them. You see what I'm saying? See, a lot of people, oh, just exaggerating. Okay, really? Well, we're going to make sure. Remember this piece of shit right here that killed 18-year-old sister over there in California, Nia Wilson? Look down at his feet. Black shoes, white laces. Oh, but it's a coincidence, huh? Oh, we just making this shit up, huh? Okay, well, no problem. No problem. That's probably not enough to convince you. We're going to keep it rolling. We're going to keep it rolling. Here's another one of them, okay? Now, this was one of the uniforms of the earlier versions of Vanguard America. They changed their name, you know, Patriot Front. and all of that. So look at his boots. Black boots, white laces. It's probably still not enough though, huh? Okay, no problem. We got some more to show you, no problem. See, when you look at these types of things and you get in a complete assessment of what you're dealing with as far as your adversary, it allows you to be able to protect your people by sharing the information and recognizing it when you see it. You see what I'm saying? And so you can't do that by acting as if those many things that I just showed you, those few instances, are no big deal. Oh, it's just a coincidence. They just happen to have it on there. Especially if you listen to the white people tell you that. And see, let me tell you what's pathetic. What's really pathetic is a lot of the tether class will sit there and deny that because white people told them that's not what it means. So let me tell you something, man. The sad thing about a lot of them, they already done, man. They already done because they come over here new to a land that they've never been to. And they think they know more about that land and the threats in it than the people who have lived here for over 400 years, okay? Which would be us, foundational Black Americans. See, like the old saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, you will be wise anywhere you go. Because let me tell you something. I'm a very well-traveled man from an early age. I've been from damn near all over this country, man. I've been to damn near all 50 states, damn near. I've been to several different countries. Any place I go, even to just hear from state to state, I'm always going to refer to the people that have lived in that state longer than me to get, the do's and don'ts of the place, get the lay of the land, understand, okay, over here is cool, over here is not. Watch yourself over here. This is where our people are. This is where our people really aren't. This is what goes on over here. I'm going to defer to the person that I know lives there, okay? If I go out of state where my relatives are, I defer to them because they've lived there longer than me. Even though I visited, it's not the same as living there long term so that you can get an understanding of things, okay? So that's what I would say to you tellers if you have any sense. You better learn to listen to your brothers and sisters that are in the know about things so that you can protect yourself because, see, we've seen too many times. A lot of you think you know so much more than foundational Black Americans and you put yourself in situations where you're in harm's way and these people got you isolated and you the next victim and nobody ever sees you again. Then the next thing you know, your family comes running to us and we tried to tell you. And see, this piece of shit you're looking at on your screen here, Kyle Rittenhouse, let's talk about him for a minute, right? He got off with what he did, and we was trying to tell people that even though it was white people he killed, his intended targets were Black people, got him on video saying that's what he wanted to do. They made a little hero out of him too. Another coward, okay? Another coward. A young one at that. And see, you need to understand something. The ages that they deify these maggots with when they get off with this stuff, let me tell you what the importance of deifying them when they're young. They want to set the tone for the next generation. See, you better pay close attention to these numbers that they're following. They have to rule by fear, okay? It's one thing to have control of the economics. Oh yeah, that matters a lot. When you got control of the economics, you can run anything. But the other thing you must have, you must make sure that the people that you're oppressing are afraid of not just the elders, but the young ones, okay, that are going to be taking the elders' places. And see, this is how they see this. See, now, normal Black people, we wouldn't even think this way. But see, you got to remember, these people are not sane. They're demonic cowards. So this is why they'll parade this little piece of shit right here around and make him a hero, George Zimmerman and all the rest of them, particularly the young white supremacists. They're trying to send a message to them, hey, get out here and do this. The system's going to back you up and support you. The answer to that must be, we must be on code enough, one, to prevent these things from happening. And number two, when we do get them to the point where they're prosecuted, you can't just say, okay, they arrest them and let up. No, we got to make sure that after they're arrested, they get the proper charges put on them. Then we got to stay on top of this thing. And hopefully the families aren't buck dancing and trying to just get a payout and then go away because that puts a target on our backs. But we have to stay on them to make sure that they get the proper sentence also. You see what I'm saying? See, there's work to be done. There's work to be done. So you have to make sure that you keep in mind that when you see them get arrested, don't start celebrating. Because, see, the goal is for all of them to get off like Kyle Rittenhouse did, okay? So that's why I'm showing you this. We got some further things we got to analyze here, though, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, we not done here tonight. We just getting started. See, remember the situation with that piece of shit, Jonathan Pentland. I'm gonna play this clip for you in case y'all hadn't seen this to refresh your memory, and I'm gonna show you how that ties into what we're talking about here tonight. Let's let this play.
Go away right now.
Call the police.
Hey, they've already been called. They're just waiting.
Taking fights with who?
You know what? Maybe you should hang on a little longer. We'll
Let's
see
go.
how it goes. Then we won't have to get the report by
What
ourselves.
is it you're doing here?
Walking.
Then
walk
walk.
out.
Okay, and that's what I was doing since you came out of house. and ran
Well, you've been here like 15 minutes now.
Let's go. Walk away.
Keep walking.
Walk away.
I already walked away.
Walk away right now. You need help?
You got this on camera.
I'm happy to help you.
You already hit me.
I didn't hit you.
You just pushed me, sir.
There's a difference between
Pretty sure
pushing
you were
you.
the aggressor, buddy.
You're aggressing on the
When
neighborhood.
someone came running at
Walk
the
back.
You better walk away. You walk away. You talking to my wife right now.
That's your wife?
Walk away.
I didn't do
Walk
anything to
away.
your wife to speak.
Check it out. You either walk away or I'm going to carry your ass out of here.
Dude, if you touch
What do you
me,
want to do?
You better not touch me.
Or
I'm
what?
not arguing
What are you
with
going to do?
You up on me.
Let's go. Walk
No,
away.
I didn't do anything to you.
I'm about to do something to you. You better start
Anything
walking.
to her? I do anything to her.
You better start walking
So
right
when
now.
you come after me like that,
I ain't coming after
you're the one in the
you.
wrong.
Now, see, remember what I told you earlier about a bully, right? You see the size difference between that young brother and Jonathan Pentland, who was also a Marine. Okay, this is another Marine here. I want y'all to thread the needle. Follow me as I thread this needle. We've already told you that white supremacy runs rampant in every branch of the military and police. Another Marine. Clear size difference. Now, do you think if this young brother would have been about his size or bigger that he would have walked up on him and tried him like that? See, that goes to show you what a pussy and a punk that they are when they try to pick somebody that's a soft target like that. I just want y'all to remember this, okay? Because see, I'm going to make the other point in a second. I'm going to let this play here. I'm going to make that other point in a second. Let's let it all finish.
You're in the wrong neighborhood, motherfucker. Get out. Get out.
I live here, sir.
Where? Where's your house? What's your address?
Maybe we should walk you home.
You can't walk me home.
Well, you bet. You want to bet what I can do?
I live here, sir.
Okay,
Right
what's
now,
your
you're
address?
harassing the
I'm
neighborhood.
not harassing anyone walking through the neighborhood I live in, sir.
Where? But check it out. We are a tight-knit community.
Okay.
We
How
take
long
care
have
of
you
each
been
other.
here? How long have
A
you
hell of a
been
lot
living
longer than your ass, because
How
I
long
have
have you
never
been
seen
living
you
here?
before in my
How long
life.
have you been living here?
That's
Why
none
does
of
that
your
even
business.
matter to you?
How long have you been
It
living
doesn't
here?
matter. You know what? Get the hell out of my face.
You've been
Get
in
out of my
life,
face.
You walked up to me.
Check it out, motherfucker. I ain't playing with you. You either get your ass moving or I'm going to move you.
You smell drunk.
You want to bet?
You are drunk.
I'm about to show you what I can do.
I would suggest that
You better walk away.
Now, mind you, to further show you what a coward this guy is, remember, this young brother was autistic too, okay? I found that out. He was autistic. So now, the young brother was trying to walk away. He walking behind him. And see, pay attention to the comments that he made. This is the point I was going to make. Notice how when he was talking to him, he said, oh, we're a tight-knit community. I never seen you around here before. See, just your very presence in some place that they think you don't belong, they look at you as like, oh, this nigga don't belong over here. So for you tethers that love to go running to these white neighborhoods, you placing yourself behind enemy lines. Now, from what I understood, and you're going to hear it in this clip here, the young brother said he lived there. You see what I'm saying? See, I tried to teach in a way where if anybody comes across my content and you are wayward in your thinking, I can give you some food for thought and you can correct course. I'm going to say it yet one more time. Whether you foundational Black American or to the class, when you isolate yourself to these predominantly white areas, they do not want you there. They view you as a threat just with your very presence. This young brother wasn't bothering anybody. And then look how aggressive he is. See, let me tell you something. When I first saw this, just like with other situations, boy, some of us be like, boy, I wish that would have been me, brother. Or I would, man, listen. They don't really test me like that because my demeanor doesn't come off in a way where you think you can put your hands on me without a consequence. I've had very few people think that they could get away with that. But boy, let me tell you, boy, if had that been me, I would have gave him a lot to think about. I'll show him the difference between other branches of the military and the Marines, but I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there. I'm gonna further let this play. And then we're going to thread some more needles on tonight's broadcast because we got a lot more to get to.
Walk away.
I'm walking. You keep following me, sir.
There's only one way out of here. It's right over there.
There's multiple ways out of here, sir.
You want to bet?
So now you saw that, right? Now, Jonathan Pentland got a little slap on the wrist also. Had he been black and did something like that, and the despicable thing at the time, you know, we have a black Secretary of Defense and his installation commander was a black man. He was on his way out. He was acting all scared to address the situation. But see, if you black and you do something like that and you're in the military, oh, they come down on you, man, with the full force of like the USCMJ, court martial and everything. You can't get away with that type of contact if you conduct if you black and in uniform off duty. They don't ever let us slide for that. But see, when it's one of them, that whole system backed them up. You see what I'm saying? And see, this brings us to this piece of shit here in present day. I know y'all heard about this. He went to Howard University and he proceeded to give the commencement speech. Well, old Jim Crow Joe, unfortunately for you, those of us over here in New Black Media, we are not asleep, and we're going to make sure our people are not asleep either. I'm going to play his commencement speech, and then we're going to make some points because, see, you know, oh, Uncle Joe, as a lot of silly bisexuals called him, oh, he made some comments. He started trying to use our terms on the grassroots. But see, I'm going to let him talk, and then I'm going to point something out about all of these Democrats that are trying to use this new strategy of using New Black Media terms. Let's let this little thin-lipped demon speak right here.
We know that American history has not always been a fairy tale. From the start, it's been a constant push and pull for more than 240 years between the best of us, the American ideal that we're all created equal, and the worst of us, the harsh reality that racism has long torn us apart. It's a battle that's never really over. But on the best days, enough of us have the guts and the hearts to stand up for the best in us, to choose love over hate, unity over disunion, progress over retreat, to stand up against the poison of white supremacy, as I did my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy. We can finally resolve those ongoing questions about who we are as a nation. That puts strength of our diversity at the center of American life. A future that celebrates and learns from history. A future for all Americans. A future I see you leading, and I'm not, again, exaggerating. You are going to be leading it. Again, let's be clear. There are those who don't see you and don't want this future. There are those who demonize and pit people against one another. And there are those who do anything and everything, no matter how desperate or immoral, to hold on to power. And that's never going to be an easy battle. But I know this: the oldest, most sinister forces may believe they'll determine America's future, but they are wrong. We will determine America's future.
Okay, so you heard old Jim Crow Joe, right? You heard him? Ow. There are many challenges and many battles. Yeah, This is the same Joe Biden that in 1977 said what you're looking at on your screen here. I don't want my children to grow up in a jungle, a racial jungle. Now, who do you think? By the way, he was friends with old Klansman, Senator Byrd there, Robert Byrd, and Strom Thurmond, certified Klansman. Okay, well, and Strom Thurmond, may he rest in peace, is no longer here. Those were his buddies. Those were his mentors. He was against, busing and everything back in the day. And he made this statement. So who do you think he was talking about? And to answer your question there, J. Joe 440, what martial arts would you use? Okay, my brother, I think brother, I'm not sure if you're a brother or a sister. Let me know in the chat. No disrespect to you, but before we get back to the focus, you would consider things like Aikido, okay, Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian or the African version, okay. You would consider Taijutsu, ninjutsu, Muay Thai. There's several martial arts that you can use. One of my favorites, particularly if you're not a big person, that will help you control dealing with someone that's bigger than you, will be Systema. Look into that, okay? So no disrespect to you, but try to stay focused here. I understand it's a very valid question. We'll cover that. Wing Chun is another one. Yeah, creative welfare, you're very right. A lot of people might not have the discipline to practice Wing Chun, but those are some very good self-defense systems. I'll have to do a program on that one day. But tonight, we're going to focus on what we're dealing with here. So no disrespect to you. Try to stay focused, fam. But see, this joker right here, Jim Crow Joe, okay? He said he didn't want his children to grow up in a racial jungle. Now, a lot of our people, particularly the Sambo Civil Rights generation, the off-code ones, they act like they forgot all about this. This was the author of the 94 crime bill, family, that mass incarcerated more black people and ruined more black families than anything. It has a large portion to do with why our communities look the way they look today, okay? You got black people damn near doing life sentences for weed charges, and now it's legal to sell it today. You see what I'm saying? This dude's name has been on every crime bill since 1976. He said that out of his own mouth. That's not me. You can look that up. And yet now he wants us to believe that he's Mother Teresa all of a sudden, and she was no saint either. That was another white supremacist. But I'm using that in the context of how people see her as a saint, because she was not a saint. Trust me, that's another one we'll have to cover one day in the future on this channel. But see, these people, you would think, man, that he just waved the magic wand and he can stand in front of you and use what I call the Beto O'Rourke tactic, where somebody will stand in front of your face and tell you what you already experienced as a black person, but not give you a damn solution to it, which brings me to this. Family, the tactic now with the damn Democratic Party is to use new black media talking points, because let's be clear, they know who our platforms are, big and small. I can prove that. They know who we are, big and small. I don't care whether it's Brother Tariq, you know they know him, Brother Jason, Professor Black Truth, Brother Philip Scott, Torian Rain, myself, Afro Elite. They know who we are, and I'm gonna tell you right now. If you say, well, how do you know that they know who you brothers are, even those of you that don't have as big platforms? They monitor our Twitter spaces. All you have to do is just start watching who shows up. When we do certain Twitter spaces and certain numbers start to rise, you see them popping in there. You go and look at some of these check marks, and you see, and you can click on their profile, they're with that damn Democratic Party. They listening to us. They have people that they pay to listen to what we say on the black grassroots. And see, the strategy is, okay, go over there and listen to the niggers and then use their turns in some bullshit speech like you just heard, and then talk around the damn solution. See, let me tell you something. You know I like to make it plain over here with my audience, family. Check this out. This is what I want to condition my people to start doing when you hear that type of rhetoric and nobody's giving you a solution. Let me give you this analogy. I'm going to put you all in a situation. All 90 plus of you over here in the chat room, welcome to everybody. Salute. If this is your first time over here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and that way you will be notified. Hopefully, if Puke 2 sends out notifications. If not, check the community tab for anything that's coming up. But this is the analogy I want to give you and condition your mind into thinking this way, because you should be offended. I'm going to put you in the condition of all of you in this chat room today are hungry. You hadn't had nothing to eat, okay? You're starving. I'm talking about that kind of hunger, man, where you can feel it. Oh, yeah, you can feel your stomach talking to you like we say down here in the South. Okay, you hungry. Now, I come along and I got a big old sloppy hamburger or something. Oh, I'm just chewing to the point. I'm smacking, licking my fingers in front of you. And I see your situation. You telling me about you hadn't had nothing to eat. So now I'm sitting here licking my fingers like, oh, yeah, you hungry, huh? Damn, that's bad. Yeah. Wow, I feel sorry for you, boy. That's rough, ain't it? And I'm sitting here chewing in front of you now, all in front of your face. You can smell my food and everything. Oh, yeah. And then I look at you condescendingly with a mouthful of food, rude as hell. I ain't going to even chew it up. I sure wish it was something I could do to help you. Now, I got more food with me than just what I'm eating, and I ain't going to offer you nothing. But yet I tell you I understand what you're going through. Do you understand what an insult that would be to you? I know I'm your good brother over here, but how many of y'all went and knocked that goddamn hamburger out of my hand? I mean, I'm being facetious, but I want you to see how offended you should be when these damn Democrats come before you stating the issue that you know you dealing with every day as a black person and offer you no solution. See, because let me show you something that they wanted to try to hide with old Jim Crow Joe regarding his little speech. Oh. But see, we don't miss nothing over here. We gonna run it back one more time. Let me show you the version that they chopped down and edited. See, we save everything over here. Oh yeah. I'm gonna play this version of it, and we're gonna see if y'all can spot what's different with this one. Let me let old Jim Crow Jizzle talk right here.
From the start, it's been a constant push and pull for more than 240 years between the best of us, the American ideal that we're all created equal, and the worst of us, the harsh reality that racism has long torn us apart. It's a battle that's never really over. But on the best days, enough of us have the guts and the hearts to stand up for the best in us. To choose love over hate, unity over disunion, progress over retreat. To stand up against the poison, white supremacy, as I did my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy. I'm not saying this because I'm at a black HBCU. I say it wherever I go.
Oh, did you catch that, family? Oh, family, did you catch it? Did you catch it? You know what? Hold on. Let me go ahead and let me make sure you caught it. We gonna go ahead and make sure you caught it.
I'm not saying this because I'm at a black HBCU. I say it wherever I go.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm at a black HBCU. I'll say it wherever I go. Family. I've heard old Jim Crow Joe say a lot of things since he's been in office. Heard him say a lot of things. Now, I don't catch everything. I don't claim to know everything. So maybe my esteemed chat room can correct me on whatever I miss. Which of you in my chat room gathered here have heard Jim Crow Joe make the statement everywhere he goes against white supremacy? How many of you have heard him do that now? I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Can you recall any other time that every time you see him, he's stomping hard against that white supremacy? Oh, we got to do something against this white supremacy. Mind you, the same Jim Crow Joe whose Justice Department let that piece of shit Carolyn Donham Bryant go on to her wrist and live out her full rotten alabastrous life. May she rot in hell for all eternity. Where was all this concern about white supremacy, about getting justice for Emmett Till and his family, huh? Jim Crow Joe? Where was that? Why you didn't use the Emmett Till lynching bill to do something about that? The first person to be punished by the Emmett Till lynching bill should have been that old bitch when she was still alive. Why you so concerned about this white supremacy though, huh? Okay, fine, she's gone. Where was you coming out condemning what happened when Peyton Gendron killed our black brothers and sisters up there in Buffalo, New York? I didn't hear you too concerned about white supremacy then. All this concern for this white supremacy he just found all of a sudden. Oh, white supremacy. Oh, it really? Really, Jim Crow Joe? Mr. Author of the 94 crime bill, as I said, because see, let me show you something here. See, some of our brothers and sisters that were at Howard had some common sense. Some of them had the nerve to step up and put this up right here on the screen. Salute to whoever this brother is right here. You see the sign. He said Biden and Harris don't care about black people. And look, I'll take it a step further. Biden and Harris hate black people. Because see, at this point, what they're displaying before us is sheer and utter contempt, family. This is sheer and utter contempt. They've sat here, and I've showed you on a previous broadcast, how when this bastard first took office, signing executive orders left and right until his damn pen caught on fire for everybody except for black people that got him in office. The Biden sexuals, who we warned, by the way. And see, let me make something clear. I know a lot of y'all say, man, brother, you ride hard on the Biden sexuals, man. You're always coming down on them, man. Let me make something clear. I don't want y'all to misunderstand me. I love my people. I love all of y'all. I do. But see, as your brother, when I see that you're wrong, I have to chastise you and point out the flaw because I want you to be better, especially when that affects the whole of us as a community, especially when it affects the futures of young black people. Okay? So I don't hate the people. I hate the silly behavior on supporting an anti-black racist party that hurts us over and over again. Because see, if you think I'm done with this piece of shit here tonight, I stay reminding you of the past. One thing that you can say my platform is known for, I don't post lies over here. I'm not going to present no lies to the public. I'm going to walk you back using his own words in case y'all still, by some odd miracle, thinking that, well, you got to give Jim Crow Joe a chance. He is going to do something for black people. Okay, all right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to let you hear something else that a lot of y'all probably forgot about. Because, see, one of the things that I want to train our young people to do is to have long memories when it comes to being offended by white supremacists in either political party, okay? You have to, because that's a protection mechanism for you and any family that you may go on to have. I'm going to show you something else about old Jim Crow Joe. A lot of y'all probably remember this. Let's let him talk in his own words.
Take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. That's number one. There's a consensus on that. Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. This country.
Okay, so see, you heard what he was talking about when he was getting that crime bill together for us, right? That was his famous speech before enacting that 94 crime bill, right? So now I'm glad that he said all of that, and we have the internet to preserve those words for all the perpetuity. Because see, this is what I posit to you bisexuals who now have buyer's remorse. I beat down on you long enough to make sure that you understand why it was foolish to go and put this man in office. Now let's discuss correcting the mistake. Coming up for 2024 here. That speech that you just heard him give, why isn't he talking like that with that same passion towards getting rid of white supremacy? Where is the version of the crime bill to mass incarcerate white supremacists? If he really wants to do something about white supremacy, okay. Why don't you put this to your Uncle Joe if you still have faith in him? Okay, Uncle Joe, we heard your commencement speech at Howard University. You say white supremacy is a great concern. You just can't sleep at night. Oh, white supremacy. Oh, this evil white supremacy, even though you're a white supremacist. Where's your crime bill that makes it illegal to practice white supremacy the same way that you can't go to Germany today and practice Nazism? Yeah, see? Yeah, why don't you put that in front of his face? Let me tell you something. If any of y'all go to these Democratic little meetings or whatever, start bringing up things like this. Let me give you something else to put in front of them. Because, see, if they're going to use our terms, they don't get to just say what we say in New Black Media and don't apply no action behind it. Don't you ever let nobody stand in front of your face and recite a problem to you without talking about a damn solution. The other thing you need to go ahead and knock down, and I've said this before, I want to put this on tonight's broadcast. Y'all always talking about, oh, you got to vote. This is the most important election ever. Your voting rights is under attack. Okay, fine, cool. Our voting rights are under attack. Let's go with that. So how about you do this? How about you amend the Constitution so our voting rights are permanent? We shouldn't have to vote on it every 25 years. See, you need to make these people talk business and solutions. Don't you let these people play with you in your face like you a little kid. If you have respect for yourself, see, just telling you what the problem is with no solution, you should never go for that. Voting is a business transaction. It's time for us to act like we know that and exercise that and enforce that. And if they don't give us what we ask for, it's political punishment time. Just like you won't work for free, I've told you before, don't vote for free. But see, I'm not done with Jim Crow Joe yet. Oh, no. Oh, I'm not done with him, them damn dirty Democrats by sight. December 8th, 2020. That's a date I want all of y'all to remember because, see, all the egregious things that he said during that campaign, this is one of them right here that really disappointed me when the Biden officials went out and supported him after this, okay? Because, you know, after he got in office, the next thing he did, well, we can't do nothing unless we get the majority in the Senate. Got that. Oh, we can't do it, get the majority in Congress. Okay, you got that. And then they started blaming it on one or two little people, Christian cinema, this, that, and the third. I'm like, oh, okay, now see, they playing with you in your face at this point. I want y'all to listen to this because, see, a lot of y'all probably don't remember this, but I'm going to make sure my people remember everything that this disrespectful bastard said, him and that anti-black Democratic Party. I want y'all to pay attention to this. Let me let this speak right here.
Country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. Hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
Now you heard that, right? This country is doomed, and not just because of African Americans. And you heard what he said? They tried to clean that bullshit up later, but see, that old bastard said what he meant. See, a lot of these people, let me tell you one of the weaknesses about these Sambos and Sambets that are just so in love with vote blue, no matter who, just in love with the Democratic Party. There's this sick attachment they have to these old ass senile looking, because he's not crazy by any stretch of the imagination. They have a sick attachment to these senile old looking white people, and then they tend to look at them as if they're to be revered or if they're like a part of their own family. This motherfucker said that this country is doomed not just because of African Americans. Now, how you gonna skip past that and then tell us, and y'all got to start working more with Hispanics and make up a larger part of the population than y'all do? And they do. We all know the reasons why. But see, let's look at what has happened since December 8, 2020. You put him in there. We told you he was going to open the floodgates and have all these anti-black bastards dumped on top of us, trying to put them in our neighborhoods. You got the Afghan immigrants over here. They don't like black people. Ukrainian refugees, they don't like black people. All of the south of the Borderians, like my brother Turn Rain say, they don't like black people. Every left and right. We see the Asians over here. We see that. Left and right. See, it was one thing we were just dealing with white supremacy. We could have handled that. And I say it again, you do not make decisions out of fear. And let's call it what it is. A lot of our women were scared to death of Donald Trump, and a lot of men were scared to death right behind him. 87% of the women voted for him. 85% of black men voted for him. All of that was out of fear. Most of that was the Sambo civil rights generation. But a small portion of that was people that should know better. Let me tell y'all something, man. And I want to encourage everybody to listen to me over here tonight. If you're a foundational black American, you don't have a damn thing to be afraid of. You understand me? You better look at our bloodline and your own personal family history and see what you come from. See, a lot of y'all are so afraid because you don't really know who you are as a people. But you know who does? The white supremacists know who you are. They know what you're capable of. You don't. You don't. Start with your own family history and start looking back at who your great elders and things were. When you just look at our overall history in general, what the fuck do we have to be afraid of? You do your ancestors a disservice when you vote out of fear and you let people gaslight and manipulate you and you just accept that as if that's your norm. Because see, let me tell you something. If you're an older black person, that's what you want to accept, okay. You made your decision. What about the young black people? They deserve that? What if that's not their choice? You won't fight so that they'll have a choice to live their lives better? There's no honor and just sitting there ducking your head in the sand if you're an older black person and you throw these young black people out here to chopping block like that, or white supremacy. I'll show you something right quick though, because see, you heard these comments talking about this country's gonna be minority white. Oh yeah, it's gonna get there. It's gonna get there because that ain't got nothing to do with black people. That's out of our hands at this point. That's out of our hands. I'm gonna play something, and if you're a young person, if you've never heard this before, I often try to include our grandmaster teachers in our work to give context to the things that we're addressing. I want you to listen to this old footage here, and one of our greatest scholars, who we revere to this day, who Howard University disrespected. I want you to listen to what this elder said and compare it to what you just heard him make that statement about them being minority white. I want y'all to pay close attention to this and study these words.
Okay, here we go. Francis Cress Welsing, MD. You are a Washington, D.C.-based psychiatrist, and you're author of the Cress, your middle name, we should say, Theory of Color Confrontation and Racism. You call racism white supremacy. To be sure, a provocative and controversial theory on skin color and oppression. Well, I'm ready. So is this mostly but not exclusively white audience. Let them have it, doctor. How? Boy, oh boy, do you need an escort to get out of your speeches?
No, now, let me just give you a little background. This paper was written approximately in 1969 and presented in 1970. It was written for a group of black psychiatrists who were looking at racism.
Yeah.
It was also written because as a psychiatrist and working in a hospital trying to treat black people and white people, but recognizing that the majority of the problems that black patients had in a psychiatric hospital, when you took a history, you would run smack into racism. So I knew I had to understand racism to help solve the mental health problems of black people. So out of my brain computer, putting in the question, why? Why do we see this behavior? Why have we seen it for hundreds of years? So I thought about these two things, basically two facts, that even though the white population says that people of color are minorities, that it is the white population that is the minority, the minority on the planet.
That's the reality you're saying.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
That in spite of the fact that black people, non-white people have heard over and over again, you're genetically inferior because you are non-white. That in reality, white skin is a genetic recessive status.
As one nation, one nation.
Now you heard that, right? You heard that. And I'm going to rewind this because, see, I want you to see what I'm about to play after that because, see, our beloved Queen Mother, and I miss her too also, brother. I had the honor and privilege of meeting the great ancestor and elder before she transitioned a few years before that, you know, and we desperately need more to be inspired by her work amongst our sisters in particular. But the great thing is that ancestor and that elder is still with us through her work. It has saved many of our lives. I'm one of them. I'm going to tell you that right now. The reason why a lot of us revere her and many others so highly, before I get on with this, is because, see, knowledge is a precious thing when you acquire it and it changes your life and makes you look at things in a totally different light, okay? So a lot of people probably like, why do y'all always speak so highly of your ancestors and your elders and your grandmaster teachers? I know a lot of the tether class don't understand that. But see, they paved the way before us when there was no one else to follow. They had to study these things and spend thousands upon thousands of hours doing research, getting with other like-minded people, going out into the world, using their own experiences. A lot of those things were hard for them to talk about, but they did that because they had a love for our people, not just at the time when they were alive or just themselves. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, and this is why we despise those at Howard University for treating her the way they did. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and many other grandmaster teachers were always looking towards the future of young black people. This is why we do what we do over here in New Black Media. And this is why what I'm about to play for you, is a disgrace for a black woman who knew what she was about to be doing this. Because, see, we have to make sure you understand how foolish it is for you to support your open enemy that means your people harm. Remember this? I'm going to play this clip for you. I want y'all to look at this.
One nation, but joy cometh in the
Come on,
morning.
Joe!
We will get through this.
We gonna get through this together, y'all.
Together, as one nation, but joy cometh in the morning.
Come on, Joe!
We will get through this.
We gonna get through this together, y'all.
Together, as one nation, but joy cometh in the morning.
Come on, Joe!
We will get through this.
We gonna get through this together, y'all.
Together.
Now I know you're like, why you play it over and over, GBS, for what? Because I really want you to think back now that this bastard Joe Biden has been in office, how silly any black person looks doing that, whether you're a man or a woman, okay? That's the reason I played it that many times. Biden sexuals, I'm talking to you. You see the way he's treated us. Every time we ask for something, talking about what they ain't got, but they giving everything to illegal aliens that ain't even supposed to be here in this country. And if you're going to argue with me about that, just wait till you see the rest of this broadcast. I'm going to tell you something. We're going to get a thorough education on just exactly what they do have and what they're able to do tonight. Family, salute to everybody in California on the grassroots fighting for the reparations over there, because we got to clear up some things, okay? Fair use in advance. I want y'all to listen to something real quick, and then we're going to point something out, because, see, family, today, where we are between Generation X's on code millennials, I've said it before many times, between these two generations, with just enough of us, not all of us, but enough of us on code, working together, making sure that we speak up and represent our people the right way, we will get not only reparations, but a great deal more change in regards to getting our communities on the right track, okay? I honestly believe that, because I know too many good people in both generations that have done a lot of good things, okay? I'm going to show you something, though, because like they said, we're going to clear up some confusion here in a minute. I want y'all to take a listen to this. Fair use, fair use.
Lisa, the governor's office and members of the task force are clearing up some confusion. Last night, Fox News reported Newsom wasn't willing to support reparations payment checks. Now, when we reached out to ask if that was a fair representation of the governor's message, the office last night did not deny the report. Then today, Newsom's senior advisor for communications told me the framing of that report was inaccurate and that the governor is still waiting for the task force to finish putting together their recommendations. That final report will be sent to the governor and legislature July 1st. In a statement, the governor said, in part, dealing with that legacy is about much more than cash payments. Following the task force's submission of its final report this summer, I look forward to a continued partnership with the legislature to advance systemic changes that ensure an inclusive and equitable future for all Californians. State Senator Stephen Bradford, who is also a member of the task force, said Californians should know reparations could come in a variety of forms and not necessarily in cash.
As far as the governor's statement, I think he's setting a realistic expectation that there probably won't be check payments in the tune of, or the amount that we've all heard bannered around for the last 2 years since we started this process. Again, I've tried to temper people's expectations that it might not be a check. And at many of the hearings, people say, where's my check?
The dollar figures we've heard and have been hearing from the task force has been its way of quantifying the level of harm done to Black Californians by the societal and government impacts of slavery. So Bradford noted reparations could come in the form of education, land, or housing, and that is just to name a few examples. They're still exploring and considering other possible ways.
Yeah, so once the recommendations are finalized, I mean, how soon could those who are eligible actually see any reparations, whatever that is?
Right, and that is the next big question once they hammer all of this out, and it depends totally on who you ask. Members of the task force would, of course, like to see the governor and state lawmakers move with a sense of urgency. The governor's office confirmed this is the first step of what could be a long process. Not only that, but this task force was created in a much different time economically for the state For the next several years, California is projected to face significant budget shortfalls. Bradford acknowledged that would be a major challenge for this whole effort, just economically. They need to stand up programs with funds. How exactly they do that to be seen.
So this, a long process, and we've seen some of the numbers. This could be a very expensive process.
Now, okay. So here's the deal. Well, we have to make sure these people understand that reparations is cash payments first and only, and then you can add to it. See, we got to stop letting these people think they can play with us on these news shows, because they're basically testing you to see if you can say, well, it could be this or that. No. Reparations must be cash because, see, let me show you something on your screen here, right? Let me show you something on your screen here. It must be cash because, see, one, that's what they made off of the free labor of our ancestors, okay? And number two, that's what they have benefited off for generations in their families. Any of these companies in America that are over 100 years old, their origins came from slave labor money, okay? So now I'm going to read you something. I want y'all to understand something. Check this out. Those of you in California, you probably didn't know this. I'm going to read you something, and I want you to be all ears because, see, I like to give you the facts to fight with over here, and just in case you're at the next hearing coming up, because, see, Fox News deliberately misrepresented what was stated, and a lot of black people ran with it. He didn't completely deny it, but he's trying to tap dance around it. So you have to make sure you got accurate information, because I always understand that when it comes to any issue, and I thought we taught you this over the years in New Black Media, but I'm going to say it again. Any issue that is one party versus the other, both are going to lie about it. So you have to make sure that you really look at the information for yourself and see if what they're saying is accurate. He didn't deny them outright, but he was trying to tap dance. And Gavin Newsom, play with my brothers and sisters over there in California. If you want and don't do the right thing, they will politically punish you and make sure that you don't get another term in office, okay? We're going to make that happen. But let me read you something over there. Particularly if you're in California, you might not have known this information. Among the key findings of the fiscal burden of illegal immigration on United States taxpayers, benefits and services provided to illegal aliens in California in 2022, listen to this number, hold on to your seats, amounted to $22,821,903,042. We not done yet, because you know I love math over here. We gonna give you the facts and the numbers you need to accurately rebut this bullshit when they start telling you what they don't have. An additional 8,114,297,526 was expended on U.S. born children of illegal aliens. The total cost, $30,936,201,468, which works out to a per capita cost of $7,074 per head. The $22.8 billion California spends on benefits and services to illegal aliens is almost exactly equal to the projected $22.5 billion budget shortfall of the state this year, as noted. So now you see, I had to put that in there in case those of you didn't wasn't aware of that. Don't you let these people play with you and tell you, you know what I'm saying, that they can't afford something. Salute to brother Project Leroy for the Cash App. And hold on just a second here. Okay, I got a salute to Prince of Paraphernalia for the Cash App. we'll unban you, good brother, but fact of business, let me look at the chat rule, because you know when I be cooking over here, you know, you got timed out, you're not banned, brother, but let me make something clear before we get back to the lesson. You know, and I know you know it, good brother, because you and her are both over here, but I expect all of my moderators to be respected. But further on top of that, this platform is a place where I try to cultivate a space where black men and black women can come together on code. So it's okay to disagree with one another, but we do it respectfully, okay? Because, see, what we're discussing here tonight, all of us, me, you, everybody speaking in this chat room, we're going to have to be the solution to these problems, okay? So, good brother, you're not banned. She just timed you out because, like, you know, my moderators do have the authority to do that over here. So whatever the issue was, you know what I'm saying? I ain't scrolled back up to the chat room yet to see what y'all was talking about. But I encourage everybody over here, even if you disagree, remember, we all we got over here, okay? That's what tonight's broadcast is, because what I'm about to show you now is really going to impress upon you the importance of us being on code and working together. And see, before we get further back to that, I want y'all to understand this. You see Daniel Penny. I showed you earlier in this broadcast how his people getting on code with their money. They getting on code from the leadership class, entertainment class, okay, the wannabe buffer class, the regular white supremacists, they on code. They putting all their petty differences to the side. So the point that I'm making to everybody, I'm applying this to me too. So I'm not just wagging my finger, I'm applying it to me. There may be some time y'all may catch me on a Twitter space or wherever and be like, hey, brother, remember what you told us? Because I like to practice what I preach. If we can't put our petty differences to the side in a chat room, we don't stand a chance of dealing with them. They mobilized, they ready. So that's all I'm saying to, you know, my good sister, Goddess Navi, and my good brother, Prince of Paraphernalia. Y'all work it out, disagree respectfully. And sometimes there are certain things that, okay, if you have a difference of opinion, that's cool, that's fine. Leave that alone and let's focus on what we do agree on, because this is the time that we must be in right now as foundational Black Americans in this country in particular. And even if you're not foundational Black Americans, to our Black immigrant brothers and sisters, you better adopt that mindset as well, because these white supremacists are not playing with any of us, okay? Because see, family, I just read you those numbers, astronomical. And you know what I'm about to do right now? I'm about to put this website in the chat room. You know where I'm going, foreignassistance.gov, because I want y'all to have the information you need to fight back. Foreignassistance.gov. I'm going to put this in here 3 times because I want y'all to bookmark this website if you've never heard of it before or if you haven't yet. I want y'all to check this out. Here's the deal. Add those numbers up, and when you go to these reparations hearings, especially the next one that's coming up so they can make a decision over there on what's going on in California, present them numbers to them. Be like, no, don't tell us you ain't got it because you had it for these illegal aliens that are not citizens of our country who we fought for the right to come over here. You see what I'm saying? They're the people that are legally over here anyway. The illegal ones, we damn sure didn't fight for them to come over here, but they flooded. And see, if you doubt that, oh, I'm finna show you something. Keep those numbers in mind, because those numbers are really finna piss you off in a minute. Family, I want y'all to take a look at something, right? Because we heard that Negro over there talking about, well, reparations might not be this or that. See, any Black person that's in office in either political party that's talking like that, they got to go. We can't have people up there like that are afraid to say the word Black, that are afraid to represent our people, that are afraid to say, hey, listen, this is what my constituencies are. Agenda is, these are the issues we need addressed. If they're too cowardly to do that because they just covering their own ass to get a check, let me ask you this. Do you think it's okay for them to be straight with they guaranteed paycheck, but you and your family have to struggle to make ends meet? See, that's how you have to look at that when these people start talking about minorities and people of color. Nah, if you can't say Black, then don't ask me for my Black vote. I'm going to show y'all something, family. I want y'all to take a look at this.
Fourth generation resident of Oakland, California, born and raised, town business in the building. I just want to come here as a representative of the Clark family, second generation skilled tradesman, elevator escalator worker, mechanic, and I just want to bring the focus back to why we're having this reparation task force. The whole purpose is because us, descendants of slaves, foundational Black Americans, were purposely and deliberately attacked at our land, our people. We were stolen, destroyed, and killed. The whole purpose of this is to bring our families the proper reparations we need, and that's a check from the Franchise Tax Board, number 1, with all the rest of the parts of reparations. I want to thank you for the time and appreciate you for hearing me now. And please, I know you guys are stressed out, probably being attacked by white supremacists. I can't even imagine. But please, you are on the precipice of doing the right thing for not only for foundational Black Americans here in California,
thank you,
but for all of us in the United
sir.
States of America. Thank you.
All right, next speaker. Thank you very much.
See, that was our good brother Black Voltron Reloaded over there holding it down in California. That's a good example of how you conduct yourself when you get a chance to speak and represent your people. You make the issues clear. You make the use of use of your time, and you make sure you let these people know that this is something that we're not going to back down on. You see what I'm saying, family? This is the right way to do it, okay? Because, see, while my brother Black Voltron was speaking in the interest of our people, I'm pretty sure you heard now, and shout out to my good brother Raheem Shabazz, because I first saw this on his Twitter feed. Shout out to my brother Raheem Shabazz. We have people like, Jim Fish Fry Clyburn over here. Oh, he tells us hell to the no to reparations payments. I want y'all to check this out. Watch this.
I'm sorry? You want to know if you support reparations? I support reparations, but in that name, y'all need to learn what reparations is. Y'all keep talking about a word. It means to repair.
It's cash payments for
Hell no. You never get it.
Why not? That's why we need your support. You got a lot of power.
You will never get it.
You have a lot of leverage.
Let me ask you a question.
You get our support. We've been dedicated to you for a very long time.
Will you listen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. If you are mulatto and you are allowed to get an education, and this person is not allowed to get an education, how will you measure which one to do what?
I was allowed to get an education, but I'm still.
That's not the point. You're talking about the law. You're talking about the law. You're talking about my wife, whose grandfather was white, and therefore her mother could get educated, but her daddy was African and could not get educated. How do you measure that?
Now let me go ahead and show you what old Jim Crow Clyburn here tried to pull. Where he thought he had a aha gotcha moment. And salute to this brother, I forget his name, that caught old Jim Crow Fish Fry Clyburn here. He tried to pull a fast one, but see, this is why we always try to tell you all to make sure you're paying attention to things that are over here on the black grassroots. He didn't say anything complicated. We've already made it clear that if one of your parents can trace their ancestry back to these slave plantations, and one of your parents can't, then you are still foundational Black American. You're half foundational Black American, so you will be eligible for reparations. This applies to what Jim Crow Clyburn is saying. And see, I wish the brother would have hit him with that and then saw the look on his face, because see, this is why reparations are lineage based. This is why reparations are lineage based. We're making it clear that the criteria is not just because you're Black. Can you trace your lineage from one of your parents, if not both, back to the killing fields of these American plantations, American chattel slavery, not slavery outside of here or anywhere else? Because see, we're gonna deal with that a little bit later here. And I think I seen what the issue was, Sister Goddess Navy. The brother was saying, brother Prince of Paraphernalia, he was saying that he was talking about the lady that was clapping, and I think you probably thought he was talking about Dr. Francis Chris Wilson. He's a pretty cool brother. I want y'all to work our issues out. Sometimes, we make mistakes. It's cool. That's what I like to try to encourage over here. Look, like I said, what I'm showing you here tonight, we got, family. So we got to learn to work out little minor issues like that. So y'all relax and be cool, man. We all family over here. Everybody over here. One thing that I can say about my platform, if you gathered over here, everybody's on the same team. But I want to show y'all something with old Jim Crow Clyburn, right? I'm going to let him continue talking, and then I'm going to break something else down.
Africans get educated now. You support Africans getting educated right now.
We're living in Africa.
You living in America.
I know you got more sense than I got. I understand that.
Thank you.
Now you saw a show old Jim Clyburn, right? Hell no, you'll never get it. You can't get it like that. And then try to use that little straw man argument and gaslighting, talking about, well, what if one of my relatives, one of them African and the other one white? Okay, if one of them can trace their lineage back to the plantation, she's eligible. Okay, that's it. It's simple. See, he knows that too. Joe Clyburn may be many things, but he's not a dumb man. I know he's ignorant, but he's not a dumb man. Let me tell you, he is far from dumb. He's got plenty of sense. He's a willing bootlick, which is why we have such venom and ire for him. Okay, Brother Marcel has been taking him to task, and he's going to continue doing so. So this is why I support that brother, okay? Because see, Brother Marcel teacher before he started getting into the political arena. He knows the history of our people, and you can use that as a weapon because, see, we need representatives that are willing to stand up for our agenda like Brother Marcel and others. And look, let me tell you something. It might be some of you here in this chat room that may get tired of seeing this where you are. If our so-called black representation isn't representing our agenda, sometimes it might be your calling to say, you know what, damn it, I'm going to run for city council. I'm going to go and challenge this person for that seat. And see, let me tell you something else. If you feel like doing that, I've told you many times, our good sister Teslin Figueroa, she'll help you and train you, whether no matter which political party you want to run for. As long as you're running for our agenda, she'll help you get the media training and skills you need. Reach out to that sister, man. She is more than willing to work with people on the black grassroots, okay? Very humble, very intelligent sister. So if you're thinking about changing something where you are, we got help for you to train you how to do these things on the black grassroots. Let me tell you something. As busy as Marcel is, he'll help you. I'm telling you what I know, not what I think. See, one of the things about those of us over here in New Black Media, we don't talk at each other. We talk to each other, okay? I was just speaking to good brother Artarian Rain yesterday, all right? We talk to each other. We try to work in behalf of our people to get solutions, okay? So you are so inclined and motivated, especially a young black person, don't think you're too young to make a difference. All you need to do is find out what tools you need, get somebody that can help you sharpen and polish that up, and you can go forth and represent our people, okay? We'll support you 100% because, see, our representatives must come from us. We must have representatives that are not afraid to say black when they're in front of these white people. Because, see, what I'm finna play for you next, the white people are not afraid to tell you what's on their mind, while we got Jim Crow Bojangles over here telling us what we shouldn't get, what we not gonna get, and playing them kind of games. I want you to listen to this long shoe face, horn nose, thin lip heifer right here. I want you to, boy, she hideous too. And what's finna come out of our mouths is even more hideous, but we're gonna play it for a reason. I want y'all to check this out.
You do not deserve reparations for slavery. People who never owned slaves do not owe anything to people who never were slaves. If a debt is owed to American slaves who are obviously no longer with us, then the debt is each of ours. Because we each benefit from living today in a nation that they, among many others, built. But it's not just white Americans who benefit. Especially the younger generations, they have never faced any legal or systemic racism despite what they claim. They deserve nothing other than what they have earned. Just because there are victim mentalities doesn't mean there are actual slaves, okay? There are white Americans whose ancestors paid the ultimate price fighting on behalf of the Union in the Civil War. Do they get a free pass from paying reparations? Since we're all taking on the sins of our fathers, are we also taking on their graces? There are white Americans whose ancestors never owned slaves. There are black Americans whose ancestors sold other black people into slavery.
Oh, I got to cut off right here. Family, listen. They've been floating that, oh, there was some black people that owned slaves lie around, and I'm going to debunk it yet again right here on this broadcast to give the younger black people the ammunition they need to do it, because those of us who are older, we already know what the deal is. Those of us that know our history. The black people that owned slaves, first of all, those were free black people that worked and hustled up enough money to buy their family members back. And then to further debunk that, to show you that it doesn't make sense that there would be black slave owners. Because if you got slaves, you got to have them on a plantation, right? Go to show you the nonsense and the silliness that white supremacy engages in, which is why you don't debate these people, especially when you know history. Do you really think back during that time, being that slavery was a profitable business, that they were going to have people that they thought was 3/5 of a human being their direct market competition? Do you see how silly that sounds and how easy that is to debunk that foolishness, family? Do you really think? Let's just really see. I know that it lowers your intelligence to even drop down to this level, but I want to show you how easy it is to debunk this foolishness, because the history is there. They threatened to kill us for learning how to read. Do you really think that they were going to allow some black person to be their direct competition with a damn plantation? Furthermore, let's debunk this foolishness yet again. If that was the case, that there was these special Negroes that was allowed to compete against the white folks, and let's just say, because I know this is silly, but let's entertain the foolishness for a minute. Let's just say there was some black people that was allowed to do this amongst the white people, be their competition, and they didn't mess with them. You would have documentation of that, And that black family would be very wealthy. And you know our people can't resist talking about how much money most of us have. People will be bragging about that all over the place. The other thing, when it comes to the black people on slaves, see, this is why you have to really know your history. The other way that comes into play is the Thomas Jefferson, Sally Hemings situation, all right? You had a lot of situations like that. That's just the most famous, where sometimes the slave masters raped, our ancestors, and they had children, and then a lot of the white relatives passed on, and it was a hard thing to do, but if those black people could prove that they were related to them, and they were the last remaining members of that family, they would inherit property from them then, and that's not a lot of people. That's a handful, because see, in a lot of cases, even if that person could prove that they was related to a plantation owner or whatever, they're like, well, nigga, we just don't want to give it to you. So those are the main ways to debunk that when they get to talking about the black people that own slaves, okay? I want y'all to remember that, okay? Especially if you're a young black person. So I just wanted to jump in there and debunk that, but I'm going to let this thin little piece of crap continue here.
This isn't as black and white as we claim, and throwing money at people doesn't solve their problems, nor will it fix our current cultural obsession with race. There are white Americans who have no generational wealth that you all love to speak of, who have nothing. Americans of all colors who have nothing. What about them? If we're going to continue to hand out government aid, then it has to continue to be needs-based. And if you say black Americans need more because of a history that includes slavery, well, they will continue to benefit then disproportionately from needs-based aid. It's a win-win. But giving money to people, even if they don't need it, just because of who their ancestors were, is abhorrent. You cannot fix one wrong with another wrong. What about every single struggling American of every color?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Because, see, the greatest wrong when it comes to foundational black Americans being compensated for slavery is the fact that, and a lot of people didn't know this until this day, okay? Those of us who are well-studied historians over here, who had family members that taught us this, family, the ultimate insult to our ancestors is the people that owned them and tortured them and broke up their families and inflicted horrendous torture upon us. The slave masters were compensated. That's right. You can look this up. The slave masters were compensated, yet we haven't received a dime yet. So I'm going to pause that right here and bring something else up because, see, I told you we don't get a thorough education over here tonight. Oh, yeah, I know y'all like, why you got to put this bastard on the screen? I got to do it, though, family, because, see, I want you to pay attention to how this piece of shit is about to sound. And keep in mind what the white lady just heard here. Let me play this for you. I want you to listen to the Supreme Sambo, Thomas Sowell.
Slavery has been a universal institution for thousands of years, as far back as you can trace human history. And what we're looking at is if slavery is something that happened to one race of people in one country, when in fact the spread of it was around the world. In 1776, which is when Adam Smith published The Wealth of Nations, as well as when the United States got started, he said that Western Europe is the only place in the world where there is no slavery. And even the Western Europeans had vast numbers of slaves in the Western Hemisphere, yes, but not in Western Europe itself. And so if you're going to have reparations for slavery, it's going to be the greatest transfer of wealth back and forth, and between and cross hauling, as they say in the railroads, because the number of whites, for example, who were enslaved in North Africa by the Barbary pirates exceeded the number of Africans enslaved in the United States and in the American colonies before that, put together. But nobody is going to North Africa to ask for reparations because nobody is going to be fool enough to give it to them. Here we have intellectuals who can imagine a different history from the rest of the world, even though it's so similar to the rest of the world.
Now you heard that ultimate Sambo, Thomas Sowell, gaslight and make that straw man argument. Because see, here's the thing. This is why I told you he's not an intellectual. Other people being enslaved anywhere else don't have a damn thing to do with what we're due compensation, legally owed too, by the way. It's not just we want it or we think. It is actually a legally owed debt. Do your research on that, right? That don't have nothing to do with other people outside of that. And nobody in the history of the world has suffered the type of brutality as long as we have under American chattel slavery. Oh, yes, there was slavery in other places. But see, here's the thing. That claim, if you were enslaved by the British, the French, or whatever, you need to go and do what we've been doing all this time and get your reparations movement, CARICOM and others, to the point that we have it, to the point that they're talking about go ahead and doing the right thing and cutting your check too. We'll support you on that. Let me tell you something. I'm all for all of us getting our reparations from those who we are due. But what you cannot do to the tether class, not all of our black on-code immigrants, we make distinctions over here. What you cannot do is say, okay, I'm going to run away from home. I don't want to take up the fight back there because that's too much work. You foundational black Americans have almost got to the finish line. Let me just piggyback on what you get. No, your lineage does not go back to American chattel slavery plantations. You are not due compensation that we're due by lineage. You're not. Why would you want to try to latch onto something that you know you have no moral or legal right to? We're not going to let you do that. We love you to death, but you must go back to where you're from. Or if you're here, start your movement up. Strengthen CARICOM and say, hey, listen, what these foundational black Americans are doing on the grassroots, we need to kick this into high gear with CARICOM. Go after the UK, France, and everybody else, Germany, that owes you. Get your reparations. We want you to get your bag. You'll have our support, but you're not going to undermine us and then try to latch on to what we have because it's not due to you. That's not divisive. That is what justice is. You understand? Salute to our good brother Information Man Show in the chat. I just now saw you, brother. Welcome over here as always. That brother has excellent content, man. Y'all, if y'all not subscribed to Information Man Show's channel, you should be. Okay, go check him out. Don't take my word for it. Put it to the test. So now you heard Thomas Sowell, and notice how the white man was just sipping from the mug while he was talking to him. Oh my God, this is the smartest nigga I've ever talked to. This guy is so smart. It's the greatest thing I've ever heard. Oh, he was liking that because they love to wheel out a little sambos or a sound bit that'll parody everything that they want them to hear, right? So now, let me tell you something. Earlier, I got an email. Okay, earlier today, I got an email. White people, what can we do to help? Oh, I listen to your content. You hate white people, this, that, the third. I'm like, no. I don't hate white people. I hate white supremacists and white supremacy. That's what I hate. And they made the claim, the person, him or her, because they didn't designate whether it was a him or her. If you're watching, person that sent me the email, white person, I'm going to show you what you can do. I'm going to show you what you can do if you're a white person. I'm going to need you to do this right here. Because see, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to let your people talk to you and show you what you can do if you really want to be a so-called ally to black people. Y'all know my stance on that. I've told you many times what the criteria for a so-called white ally is. But see, this is where I want them to start right here. I'm going to let this woman play. A lot of y'all probably heard this before because I played this before on my channel. I'm playing it tonight so that the white person that emailed me, I got some in here for you too. This is what you can do. This will answer your question.
The pushback I hear most often is, that's your problem given your ancestors, but it has nothing to do with me. It's understandable that people distance themselves. I'll focus on two reasons. One, most of us learned a distorted history of slavery in school. So as white Americans, most of us don't realize our connection to it. Second, there's a natural instinct to avoid that which can bring feelings of shame about our people, about the country that we love. To address the first issue, here's a quick rundown of historical facts I had not been taught. That the North was deeply implicated, that slavery was legal in northern states for over 200 years, that Northerners up and down the economic spectrum made their livings in businesses tied to slave trade and slavery, that Northern mills processed cotton harvested by enslaved people. The Midwest and the West were implicated. They grew food to feed the South, where land was devoted to cash crops like cotton, harvested by the enslaved. Consumers throughout the country were implicated in their everyday purchases of clothing, coffee, sugar, rice, tobacco. People who immigrated from Europe after slavery were implicated. I have Irish, French, and German immigrant ancestors who came to the United States in the 19th century, worked in factories, struggled, but they were given access to the American dream.
And let me point this out too, because we often hear the talking point that a lot of white supremacists make. Then they claim they have Irish ancestry. They're people immigrated from Ireland. By the way, they owe us that too. Germany, wherever you from. If your ass immigrated over here, especially after Jim Crow, oh, you owe too. Oh, yes, because you came over here to take part in the benefits that were reaped off the backs of our ancestors. So yeah, we got to pat them pockets too. I don't want to hear nothing. Just like they didn't complain when all that money was going over to Ukraine and all these illegal aliens. I just showed you in the billions and just in California alone, when they get to talking about they ain't got it. You know I keep up with the math over here, right? So we just want to make that clear. If you an immigrant, you came over here, good. Congratulations. You got to run them pockets too. You gonna chip in on these reparations too because you came over here and you benefit. Let's let it continue.
Why were waves of immigrants flocking here? Because it was the land of opportunity. Why was the economy booming? Why were there jobs? Because it had been built largely on unpaid labor. Once here, European immigrants got to system.
Look at the faces of the white people in the audience. Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. Look at the right. The heifer looking down like, oh my God, what is she saying? Look at the little dude on the left over there with the little red tie. What is this bitch doing? She's off code. Look at the little dude right behind him with the glasses. See, let me tell you something. I know she had to have security walking out of there because she went way off the mayonnaise script. This is what you ain't never supposed to do in a room full of white supremacists. Oh boy, but look, she was speaking the truth. And if you're willing to do this in front of your people, okay, this is the way you can help black people. So for that emailer, I want you to pay close attention to this. Let's let it continue.
Systematically leapfrog over black families with devastating consequences up to the present day. So slavery built the nation. It turning us into an economic powerhouse.
Now, that answered the question of the emailer, but see, we got to go back to our people for a second. That's in representation. You know, they always tell us about all this representation that we have, right? Representation. Yeah, black representation matters. Okay. Well, when this came to my attention, you know I was going to put this bastard on the Summer Jam screen. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Representative Hank Johnson, a dirty, disgusting Democrat from the state of Georgia, my state. Let me read you something that he said here, right? And see, if you wonder why I'm about to run him down, oh, just wait. I'm going to show you exactly why in just a second. Quote, Hank Johnson says, those folks coming across the border are the ones who are helping to put food on our table. Without them, we are not able to eat. We would have nobody taking care of the construction of our homes. Nobody cleaning up in the hospitals. Yeah, that's what Representative Hank Johnson had to say, right? Well, Hank Johnson, I got something to tell you. I got something to tell you in every black Sambo in any political party that talks like that. Salute to Robert Harris for the cash out. Thank you very much, my brother. Hank Johnson, let's start right here. And I want you all to remember this if you think that what I'm about to say makes sense, because see, tonight's broadcast is to arm you with food for thought to combat these Sambos wherever they are. If they're in your state, wherever they are, young or old, you can use what I'm gonna give you over here tonight. Let's deal with what he said first. Without them, we are not able to eat because they putting food on our table. Well, see, Hank Johnson, if you got up there in our state here and advocated for the black farmers to actually get what Jim Crow Joe promised them and cut, oh yeah, I'm going there with it, Hank. You should be advocating for that because we would be able to feed our people then. Why don't you first and foremost advocate for the black farmers if you so concerned about food being on the table and not being able to eat? Because see, let's be clear, Hank Johnson and the rest of these Sambos and Sambets here, they eat good. There's not a hair out of place on their head. Oh, they getting their paycheck from the Democratic Party. The rest of black America can't say that. He says we will have nobody taking care of the construction of our homes. Bold-faced lie, because as much as I despise Ron DeSantis, I'm a tactical-minded person. I despise Ron DeSantis. But one thing that I do like that he enacted down there is that E-Verify system. Let me tell you something. E-Verify, and I'm going to say it, I don't care who I piss off, E-Verify should be nationwide. Oh, yeah. Get these illegal aliens out these jobs so black people can get them. Then we'll have people to construct our homes. Oh, no. See, Hank Johnson, you can't pull that with somebody like me. And then he said there will be nobody cleaning the hospitals. Wrong again. We got foundational black Americans that need them jobs, Hank. Yeah. So I just wanted to introduce you to this Sambo here and his words because, see, I'm not done with him yet. Let me show you something, family. Oh, let me show you something. I ain't done with Mr. Hank yet. If you say, well, GBS, maybe you read the tweet. You know how people love to tell us we take things out of context. We don't know what we're talking about. That's all right. I'm going to let Mr. Hank talk to you. Because, see, you know, we take things out of context in the new black media like old Burly Pearly like to tell us, okay? So I'm going to be quiet and let this disgusting bootlicking maggot Hank Johnson tell you what his thoughts are on all of these south of the borderians here.
To create crisis at the border so that people come here and they are always subject to being illegal workers. And we need to do something about that in this country. Those folk who are coming across are the ones who are helping to put food on our table. Without them, we're not able to eat. If you turn them away, if all of them were turned away, and then this legislation passed, making it easier to get at people who are already here legally, and you have no immigration, then we would have no food on our plates. We would have nobody taking care of the building, the construction of our homes. We would have nobody cleaning up in the hospitals. You know, honest work that deserves an honest day's pay. You know, that's the kind of system that we need to have in this country. Immigration is important. And my friends on the other side of the aisle want to pretend that they want to close this border.
So now you heard that buck dancing Sambo. Never mind that most of these people coming over here are extremely anti-black. And his silly, ignorant ass. And you can see, let me show you something. You know, before we get on with this, I want to go back. I want you to pay attention to something. See, I like to teach you about the body language over here. Let me show you something, right? Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes, family. I want you to catch this. Look right here at his eyes. I took it back to this screen here for a reason. That is the look of somebody that they know what they're doing is wrong. He knows he's a bootleg. He know that shit he doing is wrong. But see, because he's so beholden to that damn dirty Democratic Party, he's willing to get up there and carry the water for him like that. Never mind any of the things that I've just showed you here tonight about all the money they spending just in California alone. See, if I ever did that broadcast and go state by state and show you just how much money these illegal aliens are costing us, you wouldn't know what to think. I just wanted you to catch that look in his eyes because, see, if you thought this was bad, while he's sitting up there with the cape on, let me show you something, right? I'm going to let him finish talking, and we're going to lead into something else regarding this illegal alien situation. Let me tell you something, man. You're not going to believe what I'm about to show you next. This is going to blow your mind. You probably have never seen anything like this, but hey, we finna get to it.
You know, that's the kind of system that we need to have in this country. Immigration is important. And my friends on the other side of the aisle want to pretend that they want to close this border.
Where are you from?
Venezuela.
Venezuela. And what are you doing here?
No speak English. You resident. I am not resident. Goodbye, my friend.
I see what you're saying. Wow. Well, how about that? Okay. Well, this is interesting. Well, why not?
Because it's private.
Well, no, this is a hotel.
It's closed.
It's closed? No, I just saw some people go inside.
It's closed for
well, why can't I come in?
It's closed for you.
Why is it closed for me? Why is it closed for me, though? I don't understand.
This is a private area, so therefore it's private. You're not a resident here. It's the last.
Who are the residents? I thought this was a hotel. Yeah. Hello. Welcome. Yeah. Well, enjoy your stay. Where are you from? Who are the residents? I thought this was a hotel.
Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is in Chicago. Oh yeah, we talk about them coming and flooding into these southern states, but see, hey, the governor of Texas down there, Greg Abbott, he busting their asses to most of these democratically run cities. So I want to show you just how bad this is. Oh no, your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. When I present you something over here, it's going to be solid fact that you can verify. This little dude right here, he's showing you. They've got a whole hotel. I want to know who owns this because you know what? Before I make that commentary, I want y'all to see this. Pay attention.
Now what? Now, I don't understand the designation. Could you please explain it to me? Yeah. Hello. Welcome. Yeah. It doesn't look like it's closed. Huh. Hi, welcome. Where are you from? Well, enjoy your stay. Reporter WilliamJKelly.com here at the historic Inn of Chicago, right off the Magnificent Mile. This hotel, online it says that it's closed, but yet a tremendously large number of people are going in and out. Let's try to find out who they are and why they're here in Chicago and why I'm not allowed to go inside the hotel. Excuse me, ma'am. What is going on here? Can you tell me, please? Mayor Lightfoot said that it will cost $20 million a month to take care of those migrants. Do you know where that money's going to come from?
I don't know if I'm allowed to, so.
Well, why wouldn't you be allowed to? You're in America now. Hey, how can I help? What can I do to help? Okay. Where are you from? Venezuela. So what are your plans for Chicago? Any plans? Where are you from? Oh. So what are your plans for while you're in Chicago?
Sorry, you don't speak English.
I see. Hi. Welcome.
Gosh.
Got what?
Gosh.
I don't know what gosh means. Okay. Where are you guys from? Where are you from? Nicaragua. There we go. How do I get to stay in the hotel? There's no English people allowed in the hotel? Bye.
Yeah, that's how bad it is, family. That was Chicago. You saw the name of the hotel. Historic Hotel Inn of Chicago. I wonder who owns that. See, what old Thunderbird Lightfoot did before she got up out of there. You see that? You heard he was asking them where they from. Now, see, they hadn't learned to get codified yet. They telling them where they from proudly, no problem. Ain't even supposed to be over here. Yet they going left and right in there. And American citizens can't even go into the things that our tax dollars pay for. You see now why we have to hold these bisexuals accountable, because see, family, I got to play something for you. And again, before 2024 gets here, I hope you reflect on this broadcast and what I'm showing you here tonight, because I'm putting all this into context in this order for a reason. Now that has happened, and we clearly see that most of them are anti-black, they'll come over here and in a few years, they'll tell you how they came over here with nothing and pulled themselves up by the bootstraps when they getting all this federal subsidy help off our taxpayer dollars. And then they turn around and tell us what we can't get for reparations and other things we need for our communities. See, bisexuals, you got to understand, you help do this to your communities. And I want you to listen to what these brothers and sisters in Chicago are saying about this. But when they voted for him, when they voted for Thunderbird Lightfoot and the rest of these Democrats up there, this is what happens. I want y'all to listen to this, family. So I'm showing you this so that you don't repeat the same mistakes, because they are prioritizing these people over you and they dumping them on top of you, and they giving them all types of financial resources out of our tax dollars, but they're pushing you out. I want y'all to listen to this.
All these resources that have not come to us, now you want to overly compensate for people who never lived here before, and we need to be taken care of first and foremost before anything else happens here.
Why would any leader put our black communities already riddled with crime at further risk by placing unvetted non-taxpayers steps away from our seniors, our children, and our homes we've worked so hard on our own to secure?
We are at war, people. Our communities are at war. They are violating our communities, and we asking that we across the country, and we asking and we're demanding for office of Black America, or whatever you want to call it, to deal with issues like this.
And salute to this brother, Tyrone Muhammad. A lot of you probably all remember this brother. He was the brother a few years back that was trying to stand up for the sisters when those Asians were up there assaulting them in them nail shops. And then some of them mammies up there, some of them non-FBA, but some of them were FBA too. They turned on the brother when he was trying to shut that down and boycott that place and get some justice produced. That brother does a lot of good work up there. But unfortunately, the problem is, and salute to the good brother Anthony Scott for the cash out. Thank you very much, my brother. The problem is, you cannot vote for these people and then be surprised when they do things like this to harm you. Because, see, understand something. And I'm bringing this up with the good brother Tyrone Muhammad for a reason. When you have brothers in the community that will step up and try to do the right thing as far as getting justice produced for our people, then you got our own people standing in their way. And then on top of that, with the Asian situation, they kept going in there. Even though a black woman got beat up, they're going to take their ass in there because they offered them a discount. That's just despicable, man. Why should a person respect you if they can assault you and you still give them your money, okay? Why should a person respect you if they can assault you and you still give them your money? Now, compare that in conjunction with this. Why should any political party, but we talking primarily tonight about these damn Democrats because that's who in power that has done these things to this nation. Why should they respect you if you give them your vote for free, regardless of how much they harm you? See, basically what you're doing, you're conditioning them to say, well, hell, these niggas will accept anything we do to them. They're going to vote for us no matter what we do. That's what they're saying when they see you. And see, here's the greater harm. This is why brothers like myself and TBA tell you got to watch these old niggas, because you are conditioning the young black people whose minds are impressionable that this is what they should accept. Now, fortunately, that's not working because the young black people are over here listening to the new black media and they are not going to accept benign neglect or any type of neglect. Voting is a business transaction. If you don't work for free, you should never vote for free. I had to point that out, but I want you to listen to what they were saying here because, see, this is a reminder well ahead of the 2024 elections. Do not repeat the same mistake. We tried to tell y'all that, the bisexuals, we tried to tell you what was going to happen. You didn't listen. Now you see where we are in Black America today. I want to let this continue because, see, we got to make sure we give you the proper food for thought. So if you do the same thing again, don't say nobody tried to warn you. Don't say nobody didn't try to warn you.
I did get placed on a wait list, but I was told that the immigrants were taking priority. See, that's a story that a lot of people don't know, and it hurt me. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I understand we need to be humanitarian, but these people are.
Right now, we need to be humanitarians to black society. We've helped enough. We don't owe anybody anything. At all. See, he don't even need to be talking about no humanitarianism. Humanitarianism starts at home. Who are the people that are treated as the least human here in this country? Us. We must put us first, and we must not be ashamed to say that.
That my participants are third and fourth generation Chicagoans, born, bred, fed, and raised here. My grandmother, Mayrella Carrington, rest in peace, always said, Craig, charity starts at home first, and then it go abroad.
Politically, having over 500 people in our community would completely wipe out any interest we have.
Many of these migrants have been dumped in our neighborhoods without a plan in place to monitor and house them long term.
I'm not selling nothing. And I keep telling people, we don't have to move. If you sell, they gonna come in. If we don't sell, we gotta stand strong and go.
That's right. You just get started.
Now she has the right idea. That elder has the right idea. Don't you sell your stuff. You fight for what belongs to you. But the other half of that equation, her generation is going to have to stop slitting our people's throats. I'm not saying she did because I don't know how she voted. But her generation is going to have to stop slitting our people's throats and voting for the damn acts that chop the tree down. That's the other thing you're going to have to do. You got the right idea. You stand and fight. You damn right. That's what the history of our people are as foundational Black Americans. But you're going to have to make sure that you don't give the enemy the ammunition they need to harm you. See, a lot of our people don't realize what voting is. It's just like you have leverage and you have all the assets and advantages, but you don't recognize it. You just give it away. When you have everything you need to get what you want and what's going to serve and empower our community. And see, for you tethers, see, we got to take you back down memory lane too. Because see, a lot of y'all was up there celebrating when you thought that Fox News' report, which all they do is lie. When you thought that report was accurate, you got to celebrate and talk about what we not going to get. But see, for those of you in that tether class from the Caribbean and African nations, I told you I'm going to be thorough with this here tonight. I got to take you back down memory lane too. Because see, just because they're letting the white Hispanics up in here and the Ukrainians and the Afghan refugees, remember what they did to you with this? I want to show them something, family, because see, a lot of them think we don't know what we're talking about. You have to put this stuff back in front of their faces.
The White House condemned U.S. Border Patrol agents on Monday who were seen using a whip-like cord to block Haitian migrants carrying supplies into the U.S. from Mexico. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said she had seen some of the footage, calling it unacceptable.
We just saw this footage. It's horrible to watch. I just have to get more information on it. I can't imagine what the scenario is where that would be appropriate. I'm certainly not suggesting that, but we've just seen the footage earlier this morning.
Reuters drone footage captured hundreds of mostly Haitian migrants crossing back and forth between Ciudad Acuña in Mexico and the sprawling camp across the border in Del Rio, Texas, to buy food and water that was short in supply on the U.S. side. Reuters witnesses saw mounted officers in cowboy hats blocking the paths of migrants, and the apparent use of horse reins swung to threaten the migrants. At the White House, Psaki was pressed over whether disciplinary action would be taken.
Is it the president's stance or the White House's stance that whoever these border agents are using what seems to be whips on migrants, that they would be fired or at least never be able to do that again?
Of course they should never be able to do it again. I don't know what the circumstances would be. It's obviously horrific, the footage.
U.S. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz said the incident was being investigated to make sure that there was not an unacceptable response by law enforcement. While visiting Del Rio on Monday, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said the long reins are used by mounted officials to, quote, ensure control of the horse, but also vowed to investigate the facts. The camp under a bridge spanning the Rio Grande has become the latest flashpoint for U.S. authorities seeking to stem a flow of migrants fleeing gang violence, extreme poverty, and natural disasters in their home countries. Hundreds of migrants have been turned around on the Mexico side, leaving uncertainty whether they'll be deported on flights organized by U.S. authorities. Mayorkas said he expects between 1 to 3 daily repatriation flights back to Haiti, and stressed in a news conference that if individuals try to enter the U.S. illegally, they will be returned.
Welcome back.
Now you saw, for those of us that paid attention to it, you saw how fast they got those Haitian migrants up out of here. So don't think that they can't stop that problem with those Hispanics that are coming up here who identify as white and will be classified as white and are extremely anti-black. If they can do it for the Haitian, you heard it what it said, repatriation flights. Man, listen, they cleared them out of there in 48 hours and stuffed them in every part of a plane they could fit and dumped their asses back into Haiti. So yeah, so for those of you that were sitting there cheering about that, just remember, you will not be the ones that they raise and elevate up because you will never be white, no matter how much Samboing and cooning you do. And see, I'm saying this to the class because see, if you had any sense, you will back your foundational Black American brothers and take notes from us and be seeking to work together so you can get things done. That's how it's supposed to work. Salute to AH for the cash out. Thank you. And I want to take the time to briefly address something here to whoever this is, brother or sister that's named Conscious in the chat. I want you to pay attention to this brother or sister because I don't know which is which. You said that it's not going to work because the gangs don't care, referring to Chicago, and they're too busy killing each other. And I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. I'm not jumping down your throat, but see, over here, this is a classroom, and we teach the right way over here. When you start talking, when any of us mention Chicago, everybody in Chicago that's Black isn't a gang member. We're talking about the people that want to work together on code. See, don't think that way towards your people, okay? Everybody, gang, look, let's be clear on something. Nationwide, gang members are a small percentage of Black society. So I'm not saying that that's what you were doing, brother or sister, but change that mindset when we talk about Chicago because the white media parrots that talking point. If you were thinking of the mindset of, okay, you just said the gangs don't care. The gangs are not all of Black society, okay? So just make sure you know if that's what you were leaning towards, adjust your thinking over here because, see, this is a classroom. We try to teach the right way. I'm not jumping down your throat, but I'm trying to encourage you, okay? Trying to encourage. Yeah, well, I tell you what. You say you challenge them to prove you wrong. You be the one to go up there and get the challenge popping then, okay? See, because, like, here's the thing that I want to tell you before we get on with tonight's lesson. What you do on the Black grassroots, you work with people that have like minds and that are on code. You don't worry about the people that's off code. All of us have never been on the same page anywhere in Black American history or world global Black history, okay? So that's where you need to get your mind focused at. You don't worry about the people that's off code. You find the people that's on code and get busy. There's plenty of work to do, okay? So try to keep that in mind here tonight. So now, family, if you thought what I just showed you was bad, okay, with the immigration situation, I'm not done yet. Oh, I am not done yet. What I'm finna show you right now, this happened right after that Title 42 ended. Let me show you how bad this thing was. Because, see, a lot of you, if you don't live in these areas, you probably like, oh, well, that's just some people talking about it. Can't be that bad. Ha. What you about to see now, it's going to blow everything I just showed you out the water so far. I want y'all to take a look at this.
Guys, welcome back, guys. Oreo Express here, gate 42. After busload after busload removed all the migrants and took them to processing centers, a camp is now being formed. This is May 12th, probably about 2 in the afternoon on May 12th. They are setting up another Biden camp over here, right at gate 42. So we'll give you updates, keep you updated on what's going on. They have another group over here, and they're setting up a little shelter over here right now. Again, El Paso, Texas, gate 42, May 12th, guys. This is where we're at.
Sí, también un carro blanco. También no le da la pelea hasta la baja. ¡Hey, bájense! ¡Ah, primo! Cuidado, te vas a caer.
Now, y'all see that, right? These jokers are so aggressive about breaking the law to come in our country illegally. If you a truck out there, y'all better be careful. My Black truck drivers out there, y'all better be on code, looking out for each other, inspecting your vehicles. When you stop, they hopping up in places on your vehicle to try to get over here. Now, in this situation, I suspect this might be somebody that they paid for them to get up there. But see, either way, this is how aggressive they are about coming over here because they heard about Title 42 ending, okay? I'm just showing y'all this. See, I know it's unbelievable. This is what's going on out there. Let's let it continue.
compa.
Nah, you saw that, right? You saw that, right? Yeah. That's what's going on south of the border. They just flooding over here left and right, okay? And Jim Crow Joe, and let's be clear, let's point out the other half of the problem. Because I'm pointing out the Democrats because they're in power and they're the ones that enacted this and got the ball rolling. But don't you let those Republicans fool you for a minute, because see, they are the ones who are the business owners that benefit off the cheap labor. Understand this is why I'm pointing that out, because I don't want my audience to be confused about nothing. Look at how they mobilize when they're against something. Look at how they mobilize when they're for something. Now, why am I saying that? If you joined us in the beginning of the broadcast, I showed you how they act when they're against something. When they're against somebody like Daniel Penny being prosecuted, they get together and put their money together. When they're for somebody like that coward Daniel Penny getting off, they put their money together. See, what I'm saying is when the right side of the political spectrum wants to do something, they mobilize and they get together and they make noise. Case in point, go back and study recent history. When they got ready to make some noise about these elections, we saw January 6th. So what the point that I'm making, don't let them fool you for a minute. If they really were as much against immigration as they say, you would see them making more noise, okay? So see, now I'm going to show you something else. Because see, I like to make sure I bring y'all up to speed on everything. Read this. This is a tweet by this guy, Nick Sortor here. And I'm going to show you how this threads into what we're reviewing here. The massive Haitian migrant camp in Reynosa, Mexico, right outside McAllen, Texas, is getting larger by the hour. More and more National Guard, Border Patrol, and Texas DPS personnel are moving into the area to deter charge over the border. Now, in case you're wondering what he's talking about, let me show you something, right? Let me show you something. I'm going to show you something. Here it comes. And I want you to brace yourself because, see, a lot of y'all probably didn't see how bad this was. Let me show y'all this footage. Take a look at this, family. This is what he was talking about in Reynosa down there. These are Haitians. They trying it again, and they hadn't got the message that they don't want you here. They heard about Title 42. They're like, this is our chance, but they're going to do this. Mark my words, they're going to do the same thing that they did before. That's why I showed you the earlier version of when they attempted to come over here before. Reynosa down there in Mexico. See, and this is the other misinformation they have about that. They're thinking that, okay, if they can just get over here and seek a, everything's going to be okay. But they see, they're listening to things with hope that, okay, yeah, this might be true. We see they letting the Mexicans in here, you know, and the Hispanics. Well, if we can just get in and blend in with them. No, this is about white supremacy. They do not want you here. You can't give them what they want if they procreate with you. They can procreate with Asians and Hispanics and East Indians and Arabs that are lighter skinned enough and get their numbers up and classify them as white. They can't do that with you. See, this is what we try to tell them white supremacy is global. And see, understand this. I want y'all to see something else. Look at this footage here. This was caught on night vision by a drone. Look at all these illegal aliens. Man, boy, just lines and droves of them, man. Thank your Democrats for this. Thank them for this. Oh, yeah, this is what they're doing. And Biden sexuals, you help this. And they're going to dump them right in your neighborhood. We saw what happened in Chicago that I showed you earlier with the hotel situation. You saw the brothers and sisters upset there, voicing their displeasure about it. But see, when you vote, this is what you give them the power to do. See, we over here in the New Black Media, when we tell you something, we're not just saying that to tickle your ears. We're not saying that for a popularity contest. We're bringing you the footage and trying to warn you that if you keep doing this, you're hurting everybody in Black society. See, I want y'all to look at this footage. Check this out. Yeah, that's the situation in Texas, family. Look, I showed that footage to one of my cousins, man. He said, man, damn, that looked like a line at a club somewhere, man, with a book sold out concert tour or something, man. You would think that was a Beyonce concert line around the block, man. And Project Leroy said it. They even got the dog illegally immigrating over here, okay? Man, it's just that bad. So now, everything that I've showed you here tonight, if you think that's bad, we ain't done yet. Oh, we not done yet. We gonna make another point too before we wrap this up here tonight. So I had to pack this one, family, because by the time it's over, whatever happens in the 2024 elections, nobody will be able to say that there was an information source that tried to tell you why it would be a foolish thing to support these damn Democrats again when you clearly see that our people have nothing. I want you to listen to this Crypt Keeper face helper right here, Nancy Pelosi, regarding that immigration situation. I want you to listen to this, right? You're not going to believe your ears, but I want you to listen to it.
The fact is that we have a responsibility to secure our border. We also have a responsibility to recognize the importance of newcomers to our nation. Right now, the best thing that we can do for our economy is to have comprehensive immigration reform. We have a shortage of workers in our country, and you see even in Florida, some of the farmers and the growers saying, why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here. But that doesn't mean that we don't recognize our moral responsibility as well. When the president...
What responsibility, Nancy? This Crypt Keeper face helper said we don't recognize our moral responsibility. Okay, well, when it comes to black people, you don't have no moral responsibility concerned about us. This Democratic Party administration has proven that. But hey, I'm gonna let Crypt Keeper continue because she babbling here, and boy, I'm telling you, can't make it up.
Former, occasional occupant of the White House.
No. Now, that was Nancy Pelosi. You see, she didn't have no speeches about stopping the immigration or nothing because they're encouraging that. They know what the strategy is in dumping all these anti-black groups on top of us. We've been saying this for years now. See, the person that she was mentioning, though, was Donald Trump. Let me tell you something, man. I told you I address everything from a warfare standpoint over here. I am not a Donald Trump fan. I am not Democrat or Republican. You've heard me say that many times on this platform. But what I am for is things that benefit our people. And this is why we often tell you over in New Black Media, if they don't offer us tangibles in either group, then you withhold your vote. And I'm okay with Trump getting back in. Let me say it again. I'm okay with him getting back in. Now, he's not going to get my vote unless tangibles come with it. But if he get back in, I'm not going to tell you what he say he going to do. I'm going to let you listen to what he says. Let me go ahead and let the Cheeto man talk to you. Because, see, this would definitely benefit black people. Let me let him talk.
When I'm back in the White House, the very first reconciliation bill I will sign will be for a massive increase in Border Patrol and a colossal increase in the number of ICE deportation officers.
Hold on, let me see. Now, this is something I hate to do over here in the broadcast because we're trying to educate the people over tonight. Brother or sister conscious, whichever you are, because I'm not sure you're a man or a woman. I have a rule over here. I want all my moderators to be respected, okay? So if I correct you on something, chill out. If this ain't the platform for you, you can go click off, go elsewhere, okay? You're welcome over here. But again, I stated it earlier. When the good sister Goddess Navi and the brother Prince of Paraphernalia had a disagreement, this is a place where we encourage black men and women to work together. You can agree or disagree respectfully, but if my moderators issue some instructions, just fall back, okay? You're here to learn, I hope, you know what I'm saying? But if not going to be a disruption. Now, I timed you out that time. Now, if you continue to be a disruption in the chat room, we'll just help you on the greener pastures, okay? Don't disrespect the audience that's trying to learn over here. Okay, now, I hope that that's clear. Hope you don't take it some kind of way, but if you do, hey, we can help you out with that too. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, but we're going to get back to this. I want y'all to listen to what Donald Trump is saying here because, like I said, if he does get back in there, what he's talking about here is definitely going to help us.
And I want to thank the Border Patrol. These are incredible people. And I want to thank ICE, and in particular, I want to thank Brandon Judd, Border Patrol, and Tom Holman, Central Casting. He's Central Casting. Under my leadership, we will use all necessary state, local, federal, and military resources to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history. Other countries are emptying out their prisons, insane asylums, and mental institutions, and sending all of their problems right into their dumping ground, the USA. Think of it. They're emptying out their prisons, and you've heard me say that, but they're also emptying out their mental institutions. And to use a strong couple of words, insane asylum, that's where, anybody see Silence of the Lamb? That's where they come from, insane asylum. That's a stronger word than a mental institution. And they're putting them into our country. Thank you very much. I will ask every state and federal agency to identify every known or suspected gang member in America, and every one of them that is here illegally. And the towns know who they are. The towns and cities are the police. We love our police.
No, we don't love the race soldiers. Now, I can't back you on that, Trump, but hey, let's let him continue.
The police know who they are. And we will pick them up, and we will throw them out of our country, and there will be no questions asked.
I'm all for them being thrown out of our country, no questions asked. That part I am with 100%. I done told y'all, man, if they put me in charge of getting them up out of here, I'm gonna tell you what I would do. My petty ass. I'm gonna tell you, cause see, you ain't supposed to be over here legally. Then you gonna come over here and be anti-black towards my people. Let me tell you what I would do. The ICE vans, I'm gonna tell you what I would have on my petty ass. Yeah, boy, y'all would be like, oh, boy, he ain't got no sense. I would have Vanilla Ice face painted on the front of the damn hood. They'll be required to ride around playing that song. Ice, ice, baby. I'm trying to tell you, boy. Oh, yeah, I said it. You damn right. We'll bring the clout. I don't usually care for no white rappers. But I will have the theme song. They'll be riding around, scooping their asses up left and right. And look, let me tell you something. Forget all that processing you and then throwing you back over there. No, fuck all that. See, I will have a big-ass slingshot in the back of that damn van and load your little taco munching, churro eating ass up and fling you right the fuck back across the border. Get your illegal ass off from over here. See, I wouldn't be so cold-hearted if they came over here and tried to help us, but you bring your ass over here. Hey, you know work hard. I work harder than you. No, Hector. No, Esmeralda. I got this ice baby van for your ass, and we gonna load you up in my giant taco flinging slingshot and throw your ass back south of the border where you belong. I done told y'all, man. I want the entire southern border. I see y'all laughing, but look, we got to do this, man. These Democrats are destroying us, man. They're the most anti-patriotic and anti-black party ever. Flooding us with these illegal mooching bastards, man. Listen, the entire southern military border needs to be militarized with reserve and National Guard troops. That'll get them something to do. National Guard, guard the country. Reserve, you're supposed to back the military forces up. I need a 10-mile wide military base, so that way, if you do get over here, you got to cross 10 miles of military installation before you even get into Texas. Problem solved, done. Like I said, man, look, we need to get this ideal popping. Now, I know that this seems a bit petty, but it shouldn't be no paperwork. We just put you in the van, in the slingshot, and dump your ass back across over there where you belong. That's all we need to do. So, look, I told you I'm petty with it, but that's a solution to the problem. We got to talk solutions, ladies and gentlemen, damn it. We can't let them keep doing this to us, man. And we damn sure ain't got no business voting for it. But I digress, all jokes aside, because see, family, check this out. Here's the thing. We're going to listen to what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had to say in regards to reparations, because see, we heard the buck dancing sound bowls and tap dancing sound bits here saying Jim Clyburn, oh, hell no, you'll never get it. See, the minister had the right idea when he was on Arsenio Hall's show back in the day. I want you to listen to his comments because, see, we're going to lead into something else that we got to deal with when it comes to the tether class, okay? And the minister is not a tether. That brother is on code. He's been solid for years, speaking up for black people. Him and the NOI, the FOI, you see the good work our brother Rizal Islam does, okay? So, Mr. Farrakhan, whether you agree or disagree with Islam or not, I want you to listen to this, and you can't help but put that to the side and agree with these comments. Let's let the good minister speak for those of you that hadn't seen this.
Can we let the government of America off because the government of the United States of America has proved to be the worst enemy of black people? So now when it comes...
Before we let it continue, because y'all know when I get to cooking over here, man, sometimes I look away from the chat. Salute to Solo Dolo Project Leroy because they put conscience on the slingshot. We slingshotted your ass back over there across the border with the Mexicans. That's where you can go. Listen, let me tell you something, man, before we get back to this. See, now, I try not to be petty when I'm educated, but I got to go here. If hold on, let me change my voice for this. Let me give y'all a sympathetic voice, because look, he done unleashed petty. I got to do it. If you feel insulted by any of the content on my channel, if I hurt your feelings, or if you just learned your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, and you find it hard to put sentences together, you can barely spell your name, read, write, or count, don't let me stop you from unsubscribing. Thou dost not have to announce it that you're unsubscribing from my channel. Take your ignorant, raggedy ass the hell on. We don't care. We don't want you here. Change your name to unconscious, you ignorant bastard. You're not welcome. Hey, damn it, I told y'all, boy. You know how I get when I get petty. Listen, I'm sorry, family. I just had to do that. Salute to my rent squad over the Mod Squad, man. I have a very excellent Mod Squad team. Salute to everybody. And, man, listen, we having a bit of fun over here tonight. But, like I said, y'all are free to agree or disagree over here. Remember, we all on the same team. So just respect everybody's house. And this platform is my house. It's your house as well, especially if you're a moderator. So, remember, we're on the same team, okay? I encourage healthy debate and discussion in the chat room. But remember, we are on the same team because, like I said, the other side, they on code. Well, if we can't get on code in the chat room, come on now, what we doing? So I just had to inject a bit of humor there. If you hadn't laughed all day, well, you just got your laugh tonight. Look, let me tell you something. I got a whole slew of voices y'all hadn't heard yet, boy. But we'll get to that another time. Let's get back to a good minister here, right? Because, see, like I said, even if you don't agree with his particular religion, his ideology, he's going to be making a hell of a lot of sense right here. Let's let him continue.
It's time for justice. This is not spoken out of hatred or out of bitterness, but reparations have to be given to black people, even as Jews received reparations from the onslaught of Nazi Germany. And now the Japanese are going to receive reparations for what America did by putting them in concentration camps. What's wrong with the children of slaves? We are here poor, ragged, hungry, naked, and out of doors. Reparations is what we want, and everyone that had a part in our destruction will have a part in paying reparations.
Oh, yes, they will, minister. Yes, they will. Man, look, salute to the minister. He just had his 90th birthday, I think, a couple of days ago. One of the things I always loved about watching the minister speak as eloquently as he does, he always gave you that smile after he put that truth and justice in your face. Oh, and they gonna pay it. Oh, yes, you had a hand in an out slave, you gonna pay. Listen, you gonna either pay with them checks or the Most High is gonna make you pay. You either way. Now, if it was me and I was given the choice, I'd rather just go ahead and cut them checks than deal with the Most High. But hey, white people, they think they know everything. So just hold tight. Keep on opposing our reparations. You're going to do right by the children of God one way or another, okay? So now I let that play for a reason because, see, I'm pretty sure all of you have seen this clip floating around. Now I'm going to let this play, because we got to address this issue right here. And then we going to walk down memory lane with some history to show her what she needs to be worried about, okay? I'm going to let her speak because I know y'all done heard it, and then we're going to address her statements and comments.
There's talk about reparations. Let me tell you why I'm mad. Because not being Black American, but being Caribbean American, meaning my dad was born here, but his family was born in Haiti. My mother was born in Trinidad. We're still descendants of slaves. Anybody that is in the Caribbean for the most part, specifically Haiti, let's give it up for Haiti, because if Haiti didn't run it up.
Listen, okay, she says that she's Haitian, she's a Caribbean descendant of slaves, but you're not a foundational Black American descendant of slaves. See, this is what we're addressing. And see, I now that I'm in petty mode, I got to go here yet again, family, because see, look, blame Conscious. Conscious got this shit started. It's that person's fault. Man or woman, whoever it is, it's their fault. See, I'm going to tell you something else that she's a descendant of. I want you to look at this still shot right here on the screen because you can see it pronounced, even though it's slightly blurry. Family, this is my conjecture and my opinion. Now, I can't prove this yet, but I believe that she's a descendant of a damn jukebox. Yes, I said it. Yes, I did. I ain't gonna act like I don't see it. You see it too. She's a descendant of a damn jukebox. Look at that quarter slide in the middle of her mouth. What's with that gap? Oh my God, man. Look, hey man, look, you need to get some reparations for whoever put that damn gap in your mouth. That we didn't do it to you. You can't latch off our reparation claim. Your jukebox gap is not our fault. So look, I'm take that up with Farrakhan. That's what y'all got to do. But hey, I'm gonna let her get back to it. Let's let her continue.
If we wasn't doing the machete chopping and all of that, nobody else would have
Somebody chopped you with a machete in between the middle of the damn teeth with that gal. That's what happened.
really felt let's do this. But I digress. France ain't paying Haitian people because technically Haiti owes France.
Wrong. France will pay you if Farrakhan focus on getting serious about it. And France has already extorted Haiti for kicking them out of their island. See, she don't even know her own history. Haiti don't owe France a damn thing. I'm gonna quote the great Dr. John Henry Clark. Black people nowhere on the planet don't owe nobody nothing but an ass whooping. See, this is where I go again. She needs to talk to her men about why they're not back home, and salute to our own cold Haitian brothers, because I got a lot of love for them, man. I know some silent ones. But the tether class that I'm talking to, we got to be clear and make distinctions. They need to go back home and fight for that. You need to go and get with Farrakhan. Hey, look, we got to get this popping over here. We need to holler at France. All that you extorted out of us, we need that back. So yeah, that's what she need to do. Now, you can't just come over here, like I said earlier, because we don't put in all the work, and now we're close to the finish line. You just latch on to us. No, you have no lineage claim to our reparations. But I'm going to let little DJ Jukebox Mouth continue here because she got a lot more to tell us.
For just wanting their freedom. The Brits ain't paying Trinidad either. So what about Caribbean Americans? So there's talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I had to do it. It's Conscious' fault. I'm blaming everything on you, Conscious. You did this. So now you heard what little old Slotsy Thotsy had to say because she got a slot in between her mouth. These tellers will have the nerve to come over here and tell us that they expect for us to let them in our reparations claim when they have anti-black hatred that's on par with the white supremacists. Remember this little bastard right here? Oh, yeah. See, I got to put them all in here tonight. He need to be mad at whoever gave his ass this haircut that you're about to see. Let him talk. Let him tell us about why we shouldn't get what we supposed to get, but his little punk ass is over here on American soil in our country.
This one's going to get rough, okay? I am here to rebuke the black people who live in 2023, in the 21st century.
First of all, how the hell you gonna rebuke somebody when you couldn't even rebuke the people back home that made you have to flee somewhere? The nerve of this Negro. You need to rebuke that head. And then this look, let me tell y'all something, man. I got to go here. I told you, man, it's conscious fault. We're going to blame conscious for this. This haircut right here, you boldly took that hood off your head as if you proud of this. Your problems are not foundational Black Americans. Your problems are a barber and whatever told you that you were supposed to take that damn hood off when you started your little tirade here. Them your problem, player. But you know, hey, let's let him cook for a minute, because I'm going to cook his ass when he done.
And talk about slavery constantly as if it happened to you. As if you were on some slave ship somewhere. As if you were on some plantation somewhere. You who hasn't even lived 40 years. You who doesn't even remember what life before the internet looked like. You who lives in the softest, most comfortable age in the history of the human race. You who lives in rich countries with rights and opportunities that most human beings on this earth cannot even fathom.
I rebuke you who fled from your country and has no intentions of going back. That's who I rebuke.
And you spend your life crying daily about slavery as something that had nothing to do with you. Some of you even want free money, right? Somebody should come and give you free money because some person who had nothing to do with you was enslaved in Cuba 400 years ago. Shut up and sit down. I hear this crap all the time. And listen, if any one of you wants to come and deal with me on this one, bring it. I want all the smoke with you. You know who you want, right? You, yeah, slave, bring it.
You will not get a white woman with that fucked up hairline. You have no right to speak to foundational Black American men who didn't flee our country. You need to go back home and fix your country. That's what you need to do, Tether boy.
Shut up and sit down.
Yeah, see, so I had to deal with that, man. Because, see, I'm just setting the table to show you the mindset here, right? Because, see, I had to put all this in this broadcast here tonight because, like I said, when it's over, whatever happens in 2024, nobody can say that nobody didn't warn you about this. So now that we got them tethers out the way, I got to show you something here, and y'all remember hearing this because we got to bring this back. To our brothers and sisters over there in California, y'all are setting the right example. I want to play this again to motivate you on how serious your situation is over there, and we're behind you 100%. We're proud of y'all over there. This is how we have to do nationwide when we see our people making the right moves. Because see, for all the tethers that's talking about what we shouldn't do, we're paying attention to what's going on with our lineage and our people. We're not running nowhere. I'm going to play this anti-Black call from these damn tacos, and then y'all, if y'all think that I was harsh for saying that we need to, get the ice vans with vanilla ice face painted on them and have a giant slingshot in the back to fling their ass back over the border. Well, if you think I was harsh, let me go ahead and hit you with this blast from the past here, and then maybe you will see why I said what I said. Let's let this play.
Yes. I see a lot of little short, dark people.
Yeah, puro Oaxacan Koreans. Not even like Kevin, little ones.
I was like, no, I don't know where these people are from. I was like, I don't know what village they came, how they got here, but.
And so they're wearing shoes.
I get what we have to do, right? Just massage to create districts that benefit you all, right? And the future.
Yep.
But we got to figure out Mark's seat too.
Mm-hmm.
That
benefits you three.
Because if the African Americans look at this, now that he might or may not be suspended, I don't know what's going to happen. I think that he should be, but anyhow, if he goes away.
You mean resign, not suspended?
No,
you're right. I think there is a difference.
If I may,
if he resigns, hold on. If he resigns and the African Americans look at this as a hostile takeover because he's gone, we all have to figure that shit out because politically they're going to come after.
Yeah, but can I say something right now? And this is what I call the ¿cómo se llama this guy? The movie, the Wizard of Oz effect.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by the Wizard of Oz effect is when you're at the side of the curtain, it's like this big voice. And it sounds big. And it sounds like there's thousands of them. And then when you actually pull the curtain, is that you see the little Wizard of Oz. Yeah. You know what?
I've never watched the movie.
It's the same thing.
All right.
It's real simple. You got 100 people, right? 52 of them are Mexicanos. I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good about my chances of beating your ass.
25 are black. And the 25 blacks are shouting. And the
But they shout like they were 250.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was old refrigerator built Nuri Martinez with a big old Buffalo built looking ass anti-black racist and Cedillo on there. You see, that's sitting over there actively plotting on black folks. Now, see, we don't know exactly when that recording was taken, but see, that goes to show you the common denominator behind the closed door sentiment between them and the anti-black Asians over there. And see, speaking of the so-called model minority, and by the way, that is a backhanded term. You see, let me show you how pathetic a lot of these buffer class white groups are. Model minority is basically saying, okay, you're willing to let me mistreat you, so I'll give you honorary white status and pat you on the head. See, this is how embarrassing that is and how pathetic they are for those that historically, because the Asians did it too. I'll do the history on them and show you if you don't believe me. Well, actually, we're about to review some of that now. They fought for the right to be classified as white, and they have not been our friends either. Now, see, when you look at that, this goes back to show you why you should care about your history as a foundational Black American. We fought for all these other non-white groups to come over here, particularly with the Asians. We gave them an economic base. We were the one patronizing their little greasy, unhealthy Chinese food restaurants. And Lord knows when their karate films and kung fu movies came out, we supported all of that. We helped them get an economic base. And then, let me tell you something. In case y'all think it was just recent, this is old footage. I want you to pay attention to this in case you never heard this before. I want you to listen to what this little fortune cookie face flunky here had to say about our people.
Most Orientals feel more openly hostile to Negroes than most other Americans.
Why?
I'm not sure. Part of it's a certain dislike for the civil rights movement, because the people that have worked for the civil rights are saying, the government, you know, give us training, give us this and that, and so we can become like you. And the Orientals take a great deal of pride saying, you know, we had San Francisco and we had riots too, but we made it on our own. Now why the hell are you taxing us and using our tax money to raise you up when we could do it ourselves? The reaction against Negroes is very, very strong. Really very strong.
I think you're right.
Now his ass wouldn't even be over here if it wasn't for us. You hear that? We fought for them to have the right to come over and he tell them how they made it on their own. When I just stated to you, it's clear that we are the economic base. We were back then, and unfortunately, a lot of us still are now. And then they turn around and claim and use that propaganda on us to get that Asian hate crime bill. And then all of a sudden, you notice this family, when they got the Asian hate crime bill, what happened? All of a sudden, all the attacks just stopped because they were demonizing us left and right, that damn Democratic Party, showing nothing but black people in these. Everybody that attacked them that they got on camera just magically had on a pink hoodie or a pink shirt. And then as soon as they got the bill, oh, they just stopped all of a sudden. Really? Really? You so afraid of black people, but your business is over in our communities, huh? See, there's a lot that you have to politically punish the Democratic Party for. They have disrespected black people more than any other iteration of the Democratic Party that I've ever seen. But see, again, I tell you, I refer back to our grandmaster teachers here on certain things because, see, for those of you in the tether class trying to latch on to the reparations claim, a lot of y'all don't understand how thorough many of us are with our history. So let me tell you something, right? Let me make sure that you understand something. Here's the deal. And salute, good sister, back to the basics. Modal was making a point. He was saying that we supported Japanese reparations. No need to hide that one, my sister. He's good money. I know that, brother. Y'all try to make sure you ask to clarify before y'all just block like that. Get context with what people are saying. But back to what we're talking about over here in the chat room, over here on the presentation tonight, because I was looking over there in the chat room. Here's the thing, right? A lot of people try to dig up our history and use it against us as if we don't thoroughly understand it. But see, those of us who are students and scholars of this going many years back, okay, and those of us that had the actual privilege to meet some of our grandmaster teachers before they transitioned, okay, we go back and thoroughly look at everything and we can show you how it applies to present day. Now, a lot of people try to throw up certain things about our good brother Malcolm, about, you know, he was for unity, for everybody trying to work with people that had like minds. That's true of many of our grandmaster teachers and elders, but they were not stupid either. They were very aware of the particular situation of foundational Black Americans here in this country. So I'm including this in here tonight because, see, this is something y'all gonna want to be or want to remember and refer back to when people start trying to do that minority coalition crap, as we see that don't exist. I want y'all to listen to this clip where Malcolm had this debate with this Puerto Rican guy. Let's let this play.
I would not limit our employment demands to Negroes. I would include Puerto Ricans and other minorities throughout our country, which have been similarly discriminated against, though not for so long a period of time as Negroes.
Puerto Ricans weren't enslaved. Yeah, this is a problem that stems from slavery. And this compensation, yes, sir, this compensation is coming to people who were enslaved by the white man for 400 years. The Puerto Ricans don't even fit into this picture.
Well, they do fit into it.
No,
they do fit into it.
The problem is the Negro problem. They're not lynching Puerto Ricans.
If a dark-skinned Puerto Rican went down to Mississippi, he probably would be lynched too.
Spanish, he wouldn't be lynched.
No, they don't.
It's the Negro here, and as long as he can speak Spanish or some other language, or if he ties his head up with a turban or something, he can go anywhere in Mississippi or in your home that he desires.
You're not aware of the fact, are you, that African students have been arrested in our demonstrations in the South?
When they
speak French.
When they have been mistaken for the...
You see how he gave Malcolm that little sassy head shake? See, boy, Malcolm wasn't a joke, because this brother right here, we revere his economic acumen, okay, and his political acumen, as well as his historic acumen on being well-versed on our issues in his day. He gave him that little sassy head shake because he was frustrated. I want y'all to hear what Malcolm's finna tell him here to close this off.
So-called Negro in America, they've been arrested.
What I'm saying is that...
You saw how he finished that off, right? Malcolm let him know that, no, just because you look like us doesn't mean that you have the same issues and mistreatment as us, because I've often told you over here on this channel, I've suggested you all get the book Boss of the Delta, and it details that racist bastard Leander Perez over there in Louisiana, how he treated our people that was a white Hispanic. So Malcolm was just pointing out that, hey, some of you come over here and y'all don't like us either. And see, that's that version of we all came from the same slave shit. Yeah, that might be true, but then you get over here, as I've showed you, and you start cooning and buck dancing trying to help the white supremacists. That don't do us no good for you to look like us and you're not on code with us. And see, now I would be remiss if I didn't go here with this bit of history. It's painful, but we got to talk about it. Particularly for the continental African tethers, talking about they should be included in our reparations. Oh yeah? Do you really want to have that conversation for the tether class? Because if you do, all right, let's do that. We're going to start right here with it.
Dungeon housed between 150 and 200 women for 3 good months. This is where they slept, yes. But the place was much overcrowded. So there wasn't enough space for one even to lie down. The result was an outbreak of malaria and yellow fever. So by the time the ships arrived, more than half were already dead. Well, this is the infamous room of no return. That is also the door of no return. When the slaves got here, they never knew where they were going. Neither did they know what was going to happen to them. All they knew was to get out of this room onto the boats. Some actually committed suicide, because that was the only way they thought they could get their freedom. In fact, it was the Africans who did the raiding and selling of Africans to the Europeans. No European ever went into the hinterland to raid for slaves. It was the Africans who did it. And before the Europeans even landed here, slavery was already in the system. It was slaves that worked in the palaces.
Look at... Yeah, see, for the tether class, if we're going to talk about it, we're going to start talking about them chips that you owe us. Oh yeah, so you might want to back on off of that. Stop trying to latch on to something that you're not entitled to by lineage over here, because see now, if you keep on, we're gonna have to turn our attention over there toward getting that bag up off of you too. If we all brothers and sisters, right? If we're gonna do the right thing, we're gonna produce justice, okay, we got to do this thing fair and right. Because see, this is not me saying this. I'm gonna let y'all hear something else that their own people are talking about. A lot of y'all probably have never heard this. I'm gonna let y'all check this out for a minute here, because see, look, I can't argue with too much of what was being said.
Our traditional leaders and the slave trade, we blame the whites for the slave trade we went through. We blame the whites that they offended us. They took us as slaves. But let's wait for a minute. Who sold the black man to the whites? Who sold the black man to the whites? Our own traditional leaders. The enemy is not outside. The enemy is within. If we are asking the Europeans to pacify us and also to apologize to us, our traditional leaders must be the first to apologize on behalf of their ancestors for the evil they have done against their fellow blacks. Look at our attitude towards the environment and the destruction of our water bodies. All our river bodies have turned into dark brown. And you know what they said? In the next 20 years, if we don't stop this illegal mining, Ghana, we will import water to drink. Yet we don't care. And Chinese, they will come from their country into our forest, destroy our forest, destroy our land, and illegally mine and damage our waters. How can they come if the traditional leaders didn't give them permission to do that? And in one instance, whilst they were dead, our military went there to protect them. Our own military that is supposed to protect us rather protected the foreigners to destroy our water and destroy our forest. The enemy is not outside, the enemy is within. If you look at our own systems and structures in our country, we don't have a better system to improve the lives of people. Pastor, I was surprised when I read in China, they had a 10-year vision, and they said from 2011, their vision was that in 10 years from 2011, and 10 years from 2011 will be what year? This year, 2021, that they will raise over 20% of the people to become multi-millionaires.
Now, let's pause it briefly right here. Family, on top of everything that he stated that is historical fact that can be verified, because this is one of the people that's speaking the truth. I have much of that history documented here on this channel. Look at what China is doing now on the global stage. Do you see why I present these things to you in the format that I do? Okay. Look at the copy the China plan because of, let's be clear, white supremacist greed, wanting cheap labor. You ran over there and took all the manufacturing jobs over to China because you didn't want black people to have them. And you thought you was going to exploit them. But see, China, I got to give it to them. The CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, are not stupid. They said, okay, you can come on over here. Come on over here. You can bring your company, but you got to partner with a Chinese company that does what you do. And they gave those Chinese CEOs the specific instructions. You learn everything you can from these white companies, and we going to make cheap knockoffs of all their products and flood the market. They took China from third world country economic status to the number 2 and arguably the number 1 economic power on the planet right now. Russia would be third if you're really looking at it, if we're going to tell the truth. And now they're sweeping down into the continent, using debt diplomacy to swindle them out of their national assets and resources, their seaports, airports, power companies, diamond mines, things of that nature. China ain't playing no games. We see what's going on with BRICS, because let's be clear, the head honcho in BRICS is China, okay? Russia will be right behind them. The other countries are subordinate. South Africa is in there, but they're not going to have no real say, so they're just letting them in so they can feel important. They're in there because they swindle them of their resources, but they're not going to have no sway over there to control anything. It's a chess move on the world stage. A lot is changing. So I just wanted to point that out. Let's let it continue.
In 2021, they have 1.8 million Chinese who are multi-millionaires in China, and they are between the age of 40 to 50 years. Multi-millionaires.
Our good brother Tory Rain said it exactly right. He's absolutely right. The brother says, in other words, them imposing on our tangibles should be the least of their worries, and you are 100% right. Look, let me tell you something. There's a book by Howard W. French. I think the name of it, the proper title of it is Africa, China's Second Continent by Howard W. French. You need to get that book and read it because it is frighteningly, startlingly true on what's in that book and what's going on right now as far as what China has going on. Let's let it continue.
The government intentionally decided that they would make sure they will have 20% of the population multimillionaires. They also agreed that they will make sure that they will lift up the poorest of the poor. And they lifted 100 million people from begging to live a better life. But in this country, in our country, we fight our own businessmen. Our government will fight our business people. When they know that your business is thriving, and they know that perhaps you are not sympathetic towards the running party or the ruling party, they will fight you, collapse your company, and make you poor. When in China, they want to make the people rich. In Africa, we want to make our own people poor. The enemy is not outside. The enemy is within. Look at our African leaders. How much they stole, the money they stole away. We are told in Gambia, Jamal Yahya, he stole $11 million US from his own country, Gambia. Sani Abacha stole between $1 billion to $5 billion out of Nigeria. Hosni Mubarak stole $17 million US in 8 years. The enemy is not outside. The enemy to our own progress is within. Look at our presidents, the presidents who were fighting for our independence, what we did to them. In Togo, the man who fought for the independence of Togo, called Sylvanus Olympio. When Togo got independence, he decided that they would not use the French franc, the French CFA. They decided they will have their own Togo currency. And you know what? They used Iyadema to kill him and to get rid of him. When Olympians wanted to make Togo great, the enemy within, the Judas within, killed him. In Burkina Faso.
So now, I brought you up to speed on that for a reason because, again, like Brother Torian said, to the tether class, you got a lot more to be worried about than what's going on with Foundation of Black Americans. If you had sense, you would go back home in numbers after you got your money right, whether you're over here in America, the UK, wherever you are, and try to go and make things right where you are. This is what we had to do on our homeland soil, okay? This is what we had to do. You heard everything that brother was stating right there. It is verifiable fact. It's a cold, hard, ugly truth. But see, here's the issue that we have. Instead of them realizing what they need to do back home, they bring that same treacherous mindset over here and try to undermine us. We're not having it. Because, see, I'm going to bring you another word from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on their situation as well. It's going to be tough medicine, but look, the truth is the truth. The truth shall set you free if you embrace it and then act upon it. I want you to listen to what the minister had to say about this situation.
None of you can deny that what I'm saying is the truth. You know it's the truth. But either you won't write it, or you're too cowardly to speak it, because you want some favor here or favor there. So because you can't talk, you are muzzled. I'm not. I'm a free black man. And I didn't come here looking for a handout. And I really don't think you need one. Your problem is that you think you need a handout. Everything you need is right under your foot, but you're looking everywhere else for help instead of to yourself and what you can produce for yourself. This is Africa's dilemma. You are parading yourself before the world as international beggars when you gave civilization to the world. Your problem is not America. Your problem is not Israel. Your problem is not Britain. Your problem is your disunity and your dependence on others to do for you what you could do for yourself. So I don't have to come back here anymore to help you. The help is already here. The knowledge is already here. The land is here. The sun is here. The water is here. The minerals are here. You have some of the finest minds in the world, but they're in Europe and they're in America making money while Africa suffers. Why don't we create politically stable environment and call the children of Africa back home to help build Africa? We are your children, and we will come and help. But don't expect us to come with billions of dollars when we don't have it. We're struggling in America, but you got it all right here under your foot. And you should be ashamed not to look to yourself, begging white folk to give you what you could give yourself. What I said today, which one of these countries is going to give you $20 million? America's not going to give you $20 million. You got it right here, but your disunity won't allow you to pool it. It's your fault, and you got to accept that responsibility. That is why my message is atonement, reconciliation, and responsibility. We got to stop blaming everything. Don't scare Negroes today with no...
Now, you heard the minister. He was speaking the truth. And before I let Brother Malcolm add on to this, let me tell you something, man. If they stop selling their resources for under market value and letting people swindle them out of things, and they get them bootlicking puppet leaders out of office, man, they will be the mightiest continent on the planet, man. All the resources for everything come from over there. But see, they can't even get on code enough to get things stable over there so that they can profit off of it. Then they leave and come over here and bring that same failed mentality over here. I can't argue with nothing the minister said because we saw it. It was true when he said it then. It's true today. Okay? So now, I'll play something else for you here. Because see, I told y'all, I had to pack this one tonight to make you think on a lot of things that we see. Once y'all listen to what Malcolm said on a particular issue here, and then I'm going to come back and give you my commentary to close.
No badge or no white skin or no white sheet or no white anything else. The police the same way. They put their club upside your head and then turn around and accuse you of attacking them. Every case of police brutality against a Negro follows the same pattern. They attack you, bust you all upside your mouth, and then take you to court and charge you with assault. What kind of democracy is that? What kind of freedom is that? What kind of social or political system is it when a black man has no voice in court, has nothing on his side other than what the white man chooses to give him? My brothers and sisters, we have to put a stop to this. And it will never be stopped until we stop it ourselves. They attack the victim. And then the criminal who attacked the victim accuses the victim of attacking him. Yes, this is American justice. Yes, that's right. This is American democracy. Yes, and those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Right. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. Right. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me.
There you have it. Our Grandmaster Teacher's words are with us today, and it's up to us to take them to heart and act upon them. And see, put that at the end of the broadcast for a reason, because see, tonight's broadcast was addressing reparations, deportations, which we desperately need, and white supremacist codification. And see, what Malcolm said is true, which is why I try to remind everybody, whether we agree or disagree on things, it's not going to stop until we get on code and make it stop. Okay? That's the reason I chose to end the broadcast here tonight with that, family. So with that said, I hope everybody was able to get something from this tonight. You will have a reference source for many different things from past to present that you can use in this broadcast. PewTube is going to hate this if they try to mess with this broadcast, because trust me, if they don't go ahead and do that very soon, they're probably going to age restrict it or something. I will put it in its entirety on the Rumble channel, which we will be firing up soon. I'm running a couple of tests on that to make sure everything is in order with that. We'll be having a Patreon broadcast very soon too. And for the sister, I think Only Pamela's Way was asking what that book was. I'll post it on the community tab. It's called Africa. China's Second Continent by Howard W. French. That's Howard W. French. If you read that book and look at it, man, it's a sad state of affairs, but it's very accurate. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to everybody that joined us over here tonight. I hope you was able to get something from it, as I said. Thank you to everybody that contributed. Please be peaceable with one another. To everybody, my moderators, I know there was some little stuff going on early in the chat room, but like I said, man, we got to be on code with one another, work out minor differences so we can protect our people. Take care of yourselves, family. Black first. Salute. And I will see you all in future content.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Tariq Nasheed, and I'm inviting you to the Foundational Black American Expo going down May 27th, 2023, right here in the beautiful city of Dallas, Texas. This is an event you don't want to miss. It's going down at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters, and this is an empowerment event that you can invite the whole family to. We're going to have seminars and workshops that discuss things like business development, education, health and wellness, self-defense, and some of you businesses out there, we have vending opportunities where you can promote your businesses. Plus, we're gonna have so many phenomenal speakers and guests. We got people like Dr. Boyce Watkins, who's coming down, Professor James Small, Sister Vicky Dillard, Riza Islam, Dr. Kaba Kamene, Ben X, Jehudi Mayad Ra, Erica Lachey, Red Pill, Blue Pill, so many people. So yo, get your tickets now at FBAexpo.com. That's FBAexpo.com. We will see you here.